our third now Twitter space or X space hosted by Ether Cosmology, me, Toby Earth, at Antidisinfo86 and at space underscore audits, Shane and Alan. And we're just here to kind of keep it kind of open today. We did not bring a presentation or a specific subject to talk about. This is kind of an open Q&A about geocentrism, ether, or the topic of flat earth in general. So yeah, welcome. Thanks for being here. This is recorded and we are live streaming on Rumble, YouTube, I believe BitChute, and then here on X. So yeah.
Rockfan, Kick, and Twitch. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes, as well. So, I mean, my first question is why did the shadow go west to east? But I don't have an answer.
Dude, that's a good question. You talking about today's eclipse?
Yes, sir.
So, what were the heliocentric predictions for this eclipse? Like, what direction is the shadow supposed to go based on the dynamics of the old solar system?
Well, based on my understanding of the velocity of the moon and the rotation of the earth, it should go from the east to the west, but it goes from the west to the east. So,
Yo,
maybe someone has an answer. Yo, what's up, Shane?
hey, are you able to give me co-host, brother?
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yep. Thank you. I was trying to manage the crowd, and then there was no manage buttons, and I was like, wait a minute,
Oh,
the
yeah, let me
problem's
get rid of
me. Thank you, sir.
boom. Boom. I see a hand up from Earth's Flat, and they lie about everything. Maybe we can get a question or an answer. Oh. I don't see any other requests.
Got Proud, Sacred, Ken, Cat, uh, whoever else. Is anyone else want a mic right now? Well, we got tons of slots. Just throw up an emoji, any emoji. We'll take that as a signal flare to give you a mic.
So here's I'll just go ahead and read the one response that I did get about the shadow. Good question. 3 objects are in motion. The Earth's 1-year orbit around the sun is too slow to have much of an effect on the direction of the path of totality. So it would depend on the 24-hour rotation of the Earth and 1-month revolution of the sun around the Earth. As due to the Earth's rotation, the sun and moon rises in the east, travels across the sky, and sets in the west. The moon's orbit is taking it more slowly in the opposite direction. This is the direction the moon crosses the sun during a solar eclipse, which is why the shadow goes west to east. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't look anything up. So we went from the rotation. Due to Earth's rotation, the sun and moon rise in the east, travels across the sky and sets in the west. But how? So it's just like kind of an incoherent thought, I think, because how does something travel if it's due to our rotation? I mean, I guess you're saying apparently. So okay, the moon's orbit is taking it more slowly in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna chime in, but I have heard someone make the claim that the moon appears to move east to west in our sky if you watch it at night. but they say that it's actually moving west to east. I've never understood how they can make that claim. They say that it looks like it's moving west, but it's actually moving east as it rotates. And I never understood that. I couldn't figure it out.
Ah, the old double directional orbit path. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going the direction we need it to go when it's going that way.
Yeah. I mean, that
Yeah,
checks out.
you were pointing out earlier, Alan, that you can scale it up or down as much as you want. It's never going to make a difference. It's a scale invariant phenomena.
Yeah. So this phenomenon that we're dealing with right now was actually modeled out by Potter's Clay for a 2017 eclipse in August. And it doesn't matter because it's all based off of how fast the moon is in the sky. It doesn't matter about anything where they're like, oh, the rotation's faster in this month of the year. Nah, dog. It's just about how fast it is in the sky. And that's it. So you could scale it to any orbital distance, and the effects would still contradict the heliocentric model. There's no way to reconcile this with by invoking scale. Anyway, Stone's here. If you can toss him a mic as well. If you tried
Stoner.
if you tried to give me
Stone-
co-host, it didn't work.
Oh, I certainly did. It actually. Oh, weird. Well, not weird. Just Twitter Spaces being Twitter Spaces.
Shout out to your boy Elon Musk.
Wow, it says I don't have any open co-host slots, and then it says I have 0 co-hosts.
Hell yeah, brother. That's all good.
And
You
then
got it.
you're like literally like, wow, this is weird. Stone, are you there? Hello?
Guess you got a mic now.
Ah, yes, I do. Very good.
Man, we were just discussing the scale, and I know this is something that you specialize in, scale and minute details. Is there's rumors going around that the eclipse going in the opposite direction of Earth rotation is somehow proof of their model now.
I see. They're going to claim that, are they? That's interesting.
Indubitably, by a series of unfortunate events regarding scale and
Bad, Shane. No
Shane,
donut.
Shane's joining us from Air Force One, about to take off.
Okay, well, I got some food going here. I'm going to eat this stuff for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll jump back in. What's going on?
Awesome, cool. We'll come back to the old astronomical scale of heliocentrism. All right. Now that we've got some more listeners built up, we can do a quick recap here. So tonight's a general Q&A. If you want to come up, ask questions or state something or just, talk or whatever, we're off. We'll do like, 10-minute slots or something, but you're welcome to come up, ask questions, or if you're a globularist, you're welcome to come up and challenge anything or what have you. So just as long as we keep it cordial.
Yep, we would request please no circular argumentation. It just kind of ends up being a waste of the audience's time. And then, of course, try to keep it cordial.
Can you all hear me okay?
Yo,
Sure.
yes.
Yeah, man.
All right. So I have a question for you guys about the eclipse or eclipses in general. So the solar eclipse, isn't that do you think that's literally the moon? Because there's a lot of people out there asking, well, why can't you see the moon? And my response to that is, well, it's a new moon. You couldn't see it if it was eclipsing or not eclipsing. But my question is the solar eclipse literally from the moon getting in front of the sun, and it's new, and that's why you can't see it?
You guys want to take that one?
That's all you, Shane.
Sounds like a Shane question to me, brother.
Oh man, so first of all, the new moon, is the moon there? No, it's never been fucking photographed, never been seen, never been evidence. No one's ever taken a picture or seen it ever there. We just assume it's there. And then the eclipse happens at a circular occultation happens from one side and then the other. But I mean, is that the moon? We don't see the moon in new phase because it's a lesser light approaching a greater light, right? If you look at the phasing of the moon, it always in perpetuity, when it's furthest from the sun, is then its highest, most luminescent new moon form, right? Or full moon rather. And then when it's closest to the sun, it's always in its lowest energy invisible form. So like the eclipse is going to be the lesser light approaching a greater light, literally invisible, like a turned off light bulb. And it's gonna go right through it in my mind because it's not really physical, it's corporeal. So that's what I think we're happening. The backwards intercedence of the cone. So you have like destructive interference of a frequency from the conical intercedence in the back end. That's what I think it is.
Well, that first 90% of that I totally agree with. The last part I didn't quite understand, but so I guess of course, you can't see the new moon. Maybe it's energy or whatever. Isn't there a way? Hasn't it been tracked where it's literally crossing the front of the sun, though? I mean, isn't that something that we were able to track to confirm
I mean,
that it really is the moon?
I think it's never ever been proven, right? There was a thing where as a full solar eclipse, can you show us the moon? And no one could ever produce it until all of a sudden one day somebody did perfectly, but then nobody did ever again. And you're like,
Mhm.
is that what really happened, or is it never been photographed still, and we've never seen the moon actually there, and we just all assume it's there?
Yeah, and I think of course, Stellarium will tell you it's there too if you use the
So
time tracker.
yeah, but the coolest thing about eclipses, thanks Fred, is that NASA has no fucking idea how they work. But Fred, when he mapped them out, only gave them 2D maps. Like he gave a path, an event, a conic intercedence, and a time of magnitude where it was the highest. And NASA was left on its own to do 3D physics demonstrations to show you how the three bodies would actually line up to cause it, already taking into account the spin, the proper distances, and all that stuff. And turns out they've never done it and they suck at it and they can't ever get it right and they get it wrong all the time. So that's interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I'm stuck a little bit between the moon versus dark body kind of a thing. So it's very interesting.
Posted a link in the Jumbotron from astronomy.com, and they say in that article that the moon actually travels west to east with the Earth's rotation.
Well, if the Earth rotated, I could believe them.
I knew I'd heard that before. I can't picture how the moon travels east to west across the sky every night, but it's going west to east for the eclipse, I guess. I don't know.
It's that special change, that's the majesty of an eclipse. You know?
Thought you were going to say the magic.
Yeah, I just find it annoying that nobody actually has very much information on the moon, the eclipse, or anything right at this point in time. Disregarding everything that NASA lies about or whatever they claim, throw all that away. What do we have left over? We basically don't know what the moon is doing, which is really fascinating. But I was kind of wondering if, of course, the eclipse was a known moon blockage, basically. Even though we would consider the moon and the sun doing their circles above type of thing.
Yo, so I'm gonna put a site up, right? That literally you can find this eclipse and then you can predict the circumstances about it, and you can show how the predictions change the closer you are to it. And it's because of the independency of the uncertainty of the value of delta t, which is terrestrial time, because they don't know how fast anything spins when you talk in 2 to 4,000 years. So this website, if you just click it, will literally give you all the circumstances. Like I think when they said a while ago that the path changed, people were freaking out. It's like, well, if you ran it, 7 months ago and then you ran it now, that's about what the difference is that they're talking about. So I'm gonna put this in our, what do we call this? The comment thing, comment train.
Yeah, the purple pill or something, I think. Don't forget your hashtags. Not seeing a lot of hashes on that, brother.
What am I hashing it out as?
Okay, so hashtag solar eclipse. Or eclipses, hashtag eclipses, I don't know. I have a Twitter ninja that can find anything as long as it's hashtagged. So you should definitely make use of that.
All right, it's off. There you go. So literally, it produces the polynomial for the Besselian elements, the solar circumstances, the shadow, the lat along the sun azimuth. Like it corrects with the newest position of the sun, because that's a pesky bitch. They can't really quite predict that perfectly, The whole 23.54322 hours and whatever you mean,
Did you share that to the space after you posted it?
No,
One second.
I posted it as a comment. I got it.
Oh, this page. Okay.
There
Okay, you got
is.
it. Thank you, sir. Bring that up for the boys. Respect, bro.
No, he stole it from NASA. Get him.
You been out there thieving again from NASA, bro?
I mean, like they stole from Kevin or whatever. And I'm sorry, Fred. I want to call him Kevin. He's like, I don't know. How do we do Eclipse? I don't know. Kevin! Dude, who the hell is Fred Espenek, and why is he the only one allowed to do eclipse predictions and or cycles? Can somebody tell me? Anybody?
Man, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I cannot. It says I have 0 co-hosts and 0 open slots, and I can't make
Good old
anyone a co-host.
leave and rejoin. No join on your phone?
Yeah, should we? I don't know.
It's
Well,
just
no, Toby leave and rejoin. I've left like 3 times already. All right, can you not leave?
well, if I leave, I'm the host, so if I leave, it's going to end the space, right?
All right, no.
No?
No.
Sacred leaves sometimes. I think there's like
Yeah.
a timer or something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Watch it end immediately, dude.
Yeah, well, if that happens, we'll learn and people will figure it out. Have an
Yeah.
understanding, hopefully.
We'll figure it out.
I learned by pressing buttons and making mistakes, so bringing y'all with me. Sorry.
GL. See you on the other side, lads.
See, we're good. No big deal. Wait, he's still here. What if I kick him out?
Well, no, don't kick me out. I'm not hosting the space.
Dude, I can't do anything. You know
keep
that.
Yeah, you can't do anything. You're right. But let's see. So I restarted X, and then.
Oh, are you not using the new app, dude? Are you Windows?
Oh,
You're not on fucking Windows.
You know
You're
what?
on
I'm gonna switch to Windows app as actually. Be right back.
This is weird.
Hey guys, what's up? Just wanted to say, hey, hope y'all are having a blessed day while Shane's getting things situated.
What am I doing? I was just dicking around. Did I have a goal that I forgot about? My bad.
Oh, no, my bad. I thought you were, leaving and coming back. I thought that's what I said.
Toby's leaving because
But yeah, man.
Toby can't do shit.
Yeah, so now that I've restarted X, I can't come back as a host, and I can't request to speak even as Ether Cosmology.
That doesn't seem right. Hold on.
Well, think about it. There's no host, so yeah, I don't know. Something's not going right. Um,
it just it just ends the space. All right, one sec, lads, while we try and figure this out. I'll play some background music.
all right. Yes. So yeah, I'm trying to start a new stream from Ether Cosmology account here. Thanks for bearing with us, everybody that's listening to the stream. Twitter Spaces just totally dude. All right.
Hit a video space? Let me see.
Part 2. Start your space. Boom. Inviting people. All right.
They have one with video?
Yo, so where's the
So here. What is this, Shane?
That is a space with video, dude. We can do virtual cam and screen share. Why don't we try that?
what? How do
Oh.
we do that?
Yeah. Right?
What?
I mean, I've already got 5 people here, and people are expecting Ether Cosmology to host it.
Yeah. That's cool. Definitely look at
So you can do screen share though? Yeah, people are filling in over here though. Cool.
is the
Thanks everyone for bearing with us. Test. All right, there we go. Thanks everyone for bearing with us. We I don't know, Spaces was just totally hosed. Couldn't bring in anyone as a co-host. Test. All right, there we go. Thanks everyone for bearing with us. We I don't know, Spaces was just totally hosed. Couldn't bring in anyone as a co-host.
All right, so we learned that you cannot abandon your post as a host. Right?
No, but at least it looks like now the co-host is actually working properly. Maybe.
Oh, here we
Uh-oh.
go. Here we go. Nailed it.
All right.
Now co-hosting. Nice.
Fantastic.
Houston, we have fixed the problem.
Shane, are you there?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was less messy than we wanted, but effective.
Yeah.
That Chad Riggs? Is that our Riggsy boy?
A lot of dead air and technical issues. Thanks everyone for hanging in there if you're still listening.
That Chadrick Riggsinson?
Sure looks like it.
Nice. All right, I sent out some microphones. So I think, who were we talking to? We were talking to Earth is flat and everything is a lie.
Yeah, I just invited him back up again.
They lie about everything. Sorry, didn't mean to butcher your name. Just auto filled it in. You ever just auto correct with your brain?
'Tis me.
What up, G?
Yo.
What's up, Riggs?
Hey, is there actually a Twitter app for the desktop?
Yes, sir. If you go to the
Oh,
Microsoft store and type Twitter, you'll have it'll be there.
Okay. I got to
As long
log
as you
in
want
to
that Microsoft telemetry, as long as you want Microsoft to get your Twitter telemetry, you're golden.
Yep.
I don't know if I care that much. Is it better though?
I personally email Bill Gates my location every day. I let him know what's up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm mostly forced to do it from my phone to host this. I'm forced to do it from my phone, and so that's just giving the telemetry to Google. So
Is it a markedly better experience though? Is it a good app?
So I've heard from a couple of these guys.
It's better than the phone app because the phone app would memory leak me to infinity, and I mean, I had to join less times with the app than I have any browser.
Well, I'm on Chrome, so Google's got me there.
Now they got you by the old Google.
Yeah, they do. Ether and flat Earth questions and answers.
I think I was able to update by broadcast and everything with the new link, right? So we're good, real time, maybe.
Hey guys, I've got a statement and a question whenever it's convenient.
Sure.
Awesome.
Go
Thank
ahead.
you guys for hosting this. So I was thinking about, well, I went over some old footage I've seen, and in the daytime, when they do a balloon launch, and you can go up and you can actually see the perfect compression of the layers of the atmosphere, I guess if you want to call it atmos flat. And I noticed, and I wanted to ask you guys, well, the statement is first. So when you get to a certain point in height, you can no longer see the stars, or you can't see the stars at all. It's just pure black, right? Other than the light from the sun and the white speck of the moon. So I started looking at some really old STS footage. To be specific, they were looking for the Mir station, so they say on this NASA broadcast. And I'm not claiming any of this; it's just from the video, what I observed. And so it was during the daytime, and it was either infrared or it was just black and white film. But picture it's a very close and local star system. So this Mir STS footage showed either in infrared or black and white, perfect, like right in the middle of these what we call stars. I don't know if they're souls or angels or what, honestly, but in my opinion, this reflects perfectly what you would see if the stars were local. Is all that to say, in a 360-degree zoom in, zoom out, I mean, it's so crowded with stars, what they call stars. I mean, so dense. And I wanted to show y'all if it's okay and then get y'all's feedback. And I've got the link if I can put it somewhere. I'm not familiar with X.
Yeah, if you're able to, at the bottom, there's a little message icon. If you click on that, it'll take you right to this
Okay.
tweet or whatever, and then just reply to that.
Yep.
And when you post it there, we can put it on the Jumbotron for you.
Okay, I'm gonna go to where it says Flat Earth Part 2. Okay, this and copy, paste. Okay, here it comes. Sorry, I'm a little shaky, guys. I have a hard time using my hands. I'm a quadriplegic, by the way. I didn't tell y'all that. If you've not ever heard me on someone else's post describing, I discussed about this nail I shot through my eye the other day. It was pretty funny, some of the responses, but I'm now going to share with you I'm a quadriplegic for 18 years. Here's the reply, by the way. Anyway, I had a bike wreck in the Appalachian Mountains riding a bike, and I went over and a short drop off, and I landed on my head and burst my C5 vertebrae. So I have a hard time using my hands sometimes. Anyway, back to the subject. Did you guys get that post?
Yeah. Hey, can you send, is Clay in here? Can you send him a mic as well?
I don't think you're talking to me, right?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna pause my mute my mic while you guys look at this.
I guess we can give him 10 minutes or whatever.
Thank you.
5. Anyway, mic's all yours, Russell.
Is anyone saying anything?
Oh yeah, you're good, Russell. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, I can hear him. Crap. Okay.
I also cannot hear him.
His mic's muted. He has not said anything. He was gonna mute for a second while we were figuring out the mic situation. And then send JT a mic as well, Xavier.
I'm sorry about that, guys. My mic was muted. But like I said, I can moderate while we play this. Is there a way to play it while I speak about it?
Negative.
Okay, so I'm gonna just preface it a little bit. So supposedly the theme here is they lost visual and comms, I guess you could say, with what's called the Mir station. So first of all, that's a red flag to me, because how could you lose a space station like the ISS, right? And second of all, the video looks very, very real to me. And I'm pretty sure that's what space would look like if you were right in the middle of all the denseness of the stars. Unfortunately, it's just a black and white. I think it's infrared because it's picking up with the heat of the stars itself and the heat that's rising off of the Earth, or what we would call Earth, off the plane. In the video, it kind of goes upside down, sideways, left, right, them trying to zoom in and zoom out to reconnect with this Mir station. That's all I've got. I just wanted to show you guys and get your feedback of
Oh, I got you,
if you
dude.
think it's authentic.
Yeah, I pulled it up. I went to your Twitter and found it. I got you. 1 second. I put it on the jumbo for everyone so you could see, so you could scroll through. What he's talking about here is it looks like he's saying like you think that that's what space would look like or whatever, based off of what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah, because of the denseness, yeah, and the point of energy and the infrared and it's all just black and white. But as they zoom in and out, you could put it, I'll put it in perspective. Looking upward at the night sky and seeing these shooting stars, they say, that's just like a really fast zip by. So this happens a lot in this video, but at eye level, which is really cool to see.
Oh, dude, have you ever seen?
But
Speaking of zip bys, have you ever seen the one that Owen Benjamin caught with his night vision, where he's looking up at the stars and he sees like like a shooting star type thing, but it like zips across,
yeah,
but it's still in his same field of view, and then it just stops, and then
yeah,
it just is just there
yeah,
chilling.
yeah.
What the heck is
It's
that
so cool,
about?
man. It's so cool. Yeah, and the cool thing about this video and zipping by quote unquote star trails, I guess, is that you actually see the remnant of the tail. That that's how dominant the infrared effect is. Like you don't just see it go and disappear, you see it and then you see this trail behind it, which is just amazing. I mean, but how do I play this and speak um, for everyone else, I guess, to see, or do they have to play it themselves?
They would have to play it themselves, but I gave everyone the link, and then
Okay.
on the streams, I went ahead and skimmed through it to show everyone the video, so they can
Yep,
they
same.
they
Okay.
got a
So we
nice
already
glimpse
watched
of
it.
it.
So thank you for as you were speaking about it, I was playing it. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm going to mute up and let you guys, because I know it's a day where everyone was looking at the heavens and has their own experience. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, man.
yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
All right.
See, Simpu, did you see any ether slapping going on tonight? I heard the moon bumped into the sun, slapped it. The old celestial slap in the sky that may or may not have made a harmonic resonance, which everything vibrates and oscillates to. I don't know. Just work here.
And may or may not have shot wind and infrasonic waves out that are picked up by the what are they called? The nanobarometers or whatever all over the globe, quote unquote.
Oh yeah, and all the Paracano pendulums set up all across the Earth, orientated to magnetic north, had some weird oscillations today.
Those little anomalies, a couple
But
Antonescu Revenendru effects or whatever they're called. A
uh,
couple LIs here and there. Maybe
yeah.
maybe the preferred directionality of the speed of light might have done a little bit of a whoop whoop, just a little
Oh,
woody woo.
you think LIGO might have had to make some additional corrections today to keep to make CC or what?
Yeah, they had to give a little bit of extra power to that convolutional neural network today. They don't know why, but they had to use a little more juice.
Something
Algorithms had to run a couple layers deeper,
something about the sky, huh?
but trust us, it was null.
JT was out there filming the eclipse today in the field,
Dude, by the
aka
way, yeah, I'm so jealous, JT, because I didn't realize how much more amazing totality was. That looks awesome.
I'm glad you like that, dude. I did not know I was gonna like full on live stream. I just did a little pregame and then I started one like, hey, I'm gonna just set up. And next thing you know, I just ran it and ran it and ran it.
Oh yeah,
Holy
that's
Father,
awesome.
thanks
Yeah,
for this
JT
really
did a
neat.
whole live stream of himself in totality.
Yeah, I was trying.
I only caught the first bit there, but yeah, that was really cool that you did that. I yeah, so I like being in just the Umbra is like cool because it's cool you get to look at the sun and watch it disappear, but I didn't realize how much cooler the penumbra was. Holy cow.
Yeah, bro, it was something else. A few things that really impacted me was just how cool it got. Like it was really a warm day. It's like baking, and then it got like the cool of the night came over pretty quick. And I just really was thinking about like electromagnetism or like what is actually going on here because uh, just the feeling of the air was different and the birds stopped chirping when it got dark. I mean, it got really dark, and I loved being able to look up at it. Like I told all the kids, I was like, just look at it because it didn't hurt at all. There's not a bit of it when it was in totality that had any discomfort whatsoever. And it's so weird that they're like, don't look at the total. I get it if the sun's like peeking out on the side, it's still intense, but when it's under totality, man, it's very beautiful, and I can't wait to share some of the footage that I got from like the P1000.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. My brother was down for drove down for totality, and his pictures look pretty awesome as well. So I'll definitely be looking forward to see what you got.
Yeah, I met some cool people too. Like a dude and his wife flew in from Norway, landed in Houston, went to Austin, and then just kept driving. Like they were checking the weather, and they're like, "Oh no, it's going to be overcast," and they just like hauled butt north until they hit a spot that they thought they were going to catch a break, and that's where we were. And we talked to them for a bit, and just out of curiosity, I was like, "Man, maybe they're not like super deceived." I was like, "Hey, have you heard of flat Earth ever?" And they said they hadn't, but they said they're open to different ideas because they're both into physics, which was really interesting. And he's like, they say certain things about certain things. I mean, he kind of had a little bit of a language barrier, but he said, but you don't know. It's like it's okay not to know, and it's okay to be open minded about different things. And he didn't like adopt flat Earth right up, but he didn't shut me down. So that was a cultural difference because I see a lot of Americans that just get like pissed immediately if you ask them about it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, maybe it could too just be because he's in a foreign country, maybe as well. Just random thought, but uh that's awesome. That sounds really I know those are pretty like what's the word I want? Refreshing conversations when people can just be people about it and they don't have to be like defensive or get their ego involved or start like trying to insult you. Mm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm gonna hop down. I'm gonna get the kids down. I just saw you guys were rocking and rolling. I might try to come back, but a lot of stuff's happening. A lot of people are waking up and enjoying the fruits. Like I think the fruits of this journey, being in this family, is that you get to ask questions again and you get to wonder, and it shouldn't be something that's dumb. It's not foolish to recheck the science, if you will. I think it'd be foolish just to say, okay, if you say so, buddy, and then just leave it at that. So I've really enjoyed learning from you guys, and I'll be listening, but y'all keep it going.
Thanks, May.
That is the mayor of Flat Earth, JT.
I put your video up in the jumbo. People can
Don't
check
forget
that
your
out.
busy week, Mayor. Right, you got appearances on every Flat Earth show that anyone does ever, and make sure that you answer the call from Weiss whenever he calls, no matter what.
You're funny.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to JT's channel. He makes some really, we get into like long conversations, long presentations. There's a lot of material. Who has time to watch it all? JT makes excellent clips of these things, and you can get the gravy from them. So check out JT's channel. Make sure you're subbed.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, just YouTube / Run Boston Bear. And I'm going to do interviews soon. I said that today on my live stream that I really have a desire to have people on, just one-on-one talks where they get to share like their awakening story and go back and forth just with peace. No reason to argue. I think it's going to be good for people either on the fence or just coming into this topic. Because I mean, we got Witsit to debate. We got you guys going hardcore on the actual papers and the science, and I think it takes a mix of everybody to make this happen. And we're all in it for truth. If we weren't in it for truth, then we wouldn't even. Like, well, what are we even doing? And I'm not scared of not knowing. I just am exploring with y'all, and yeah, keep going. I'll see what you have to say.
Heck yeah. Thanks, Mayor. So yeah, Stone, did you want to chime in about were we going to talk about was it scaling that we were going to have Stone discuss?
Scaling and those clip shadows, or anything really.
Yeah, you're talking about like a scale diagram of the three bodies and how they look during an eclipse in terms of angular rotation?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, it just so happens that geez, more than a year ago, the Filipino team, the Flat Earth 101 gang, you may have heard of them. They put out an excellent one even farther back in time about the sun and how it's in apparent position and various optical analyses of the Eratosthenes assertion and that kind of thing. Well, this time around, they did one on the eclipse, and they did precisely that. A couple of different models, actually, and I think it's about a 45-minute video. They really went to town on it, and it's a pretty large team, which I found most impressive. They they did precisely that. They started to compute the difference between linear motion and angular motion with respect to the moon's movement around Earth and the sun's rotation relative, or I'm sorry, the Earth's rotation relative to the sun in the Globee model. And what we've been talking about is the east to west to east Rubik's cube of a problem, right? And it's all about, okay, well, does the shadow go this way or does the shadow go that way? And that is something I've seen these guys deal with in an immensely quantified way. So it commands respect when you watch it. Somebody broke up the highlights of that video into a four-parter and put it on TikTok the other day. You'll find it in the Miswits channel. But I
Awesome.
mean, that's the nitty and the gritty of the angles. But when people say that the moon is actually going east to west, I think that is a perspective issue. And what they really mean to say is that from the Earth perspective, relative to the sun's changing position of 15 degrees per hour, the moon is falling behind it by half a degree or just over half a degree per hour. That means it's moving to the east at 14 and a half degrees per hour instead of 15 like the sun, apparently using the Earth stationary reference, if you know what I mean. So
Colin.
what happens here is that the Earth's rotational speed is 15, and then you subtract half a degree per hour for the moon, and that is how you see what appears to be the moon falling behind the sun, and that looks like it's moving west to east. If you're in the northern hemisphere, of course, looking south at the whole operation going by you from west to east to west rather, the whole thing is going east to west. But one relative to the other, the moon relative to the sun, appears to be going west to east. But it's not. It's just that it is going not quite as quickly in terms of rotational, also to the west. So the big question, and this is what they also handle in a matter of scale and handling the angular change here with respect to the center of the Earth as the angular reference point, is what happens to the sun and the moon going by the Earth as the Earth is spinning, so to speak, because we have to also include Earth's alleged 30,000 meter per second movement in orbit around the sun, because that is also slightly relevant, but not the same order of magnitude. It's just part of the equation. So what these guys in the Philippines did was they they quantified the visual movement, I guess, right to left relative to the sun as you look at it. And what they established was that not only would the shadow move east to or west to east, but it would move so much more quickly that in 4 hours or 5 hours, the shadow would actually span across the entire Earth and then some by a factor of maybe perhaps one or two Earth radii, that the shadow by the end of 5 hours would be entirely away from the Earth. That the rate of progress of totality that we see going across from west to east simply does not match the rate at which in the Globee model the shadow would have gone by the Earth. I find that the first very significant major point in pointing out the incongruity of the analysis that the Globies present. The other, of course, is the size of the shadow, and that it's entirely too small. And what's funny is that if you look on Twitter today, again posted in the Miswits channel in various tabs, both Starlink and NASA posted alleged video of their satellites, their ISS going by the path of totality, and it's gigantic. It's a huge black spot on the surface of the Earth, so to speak, if you believe anything that they show, and it is nothing like the order of magnitude of the size of the path of totality that we trace across the continent on all the cool maps that they put out. So that's how I would answer the question, round one. If anybody wants to go deeper into the analysis, I recommend you watch that video. It's in its entirety. It's excellent. I keep it on the Stone Cold Truth channel, and you guys can also find my posts on the Miswits channel to get to the SET channel, and that's where you can simply look up the Filipino video on eclipses and pull it down. We keep all of the videos in the library. We do not embrace the YouTube link as an animal, so that we take control over the media and we don't wait for YouTube to flush it down the memory hole to be gone forever and all you're left with is a broken link. We have all of the media that's been posted in the channel, and we keep it there hot, ready for anybody who want to do a quick search and pull it up and watch it. So by all means, I invite you all to go and do exactly that.
Excellent. And what would we search for? Is that's going to be in Stone's very own channel, right?
Actually, no, it's going to be in the Stone Cold Truth channel.
Aha.
It's the group, I guess, the group chat. The My Very Own is just more like a broadcast channel of mostly my work and some other notable highlights, and a lot of older maps, high res, very old maps, 18th century stuff, and everything in between. Some things I find interesting that the mass media have put out, some things I find in like delicately placed messages in sci-fi that we've all watched years ago. It's That's what's over there. But in the SET, that's more of a public dumping ground of all the media people find, and discussion threads about everything. So by all means, read up on them too. The people talk about all the stuff that's posted, of course, to varying lengths.
Excellent. I think I found it here. Eclipses Proof Flat Earth 101. Flat Earth 101
That
presents.
that definitely sounds like it. How long is it? It should be about 45 minutes or
This
an
one
hour
is
or something.
52 minutes.
There you go. That's probably it. It's an excellent video.
Excellent.
He he they're Filipino, so you got to cut the narrator some slack. He talks about Babylon and things like that, but just ignore that and look at the numbers and watch the angles go by. And what they present is pretty hardcore and pretty irrefutable.
Ooh, this looks great. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll go ahead and drop a link to Stone's Telegram, which he was just referring to, where I found this video here, and I'll drop that into the jumbotron here on Twitter, and then I'll also drop it in YouTube chat.
Nice, thank you. I haven't seen that. Shout out to the Filipino 101 Flat Earth crew. Is that what you said their name was?
Yep, that's exactly who they are.
Nice. I just kind of guessed and like trust fell into that. You said you're putting it on the jumbo tube.
Yep, working on it right now.
Right.
Working for a living.
Oh, man, this app makes me feel
Yeah,
really.
you're good, Shane. You got time. We got you, brother. But when you come back, you got to do debate promo.
You got it. I got it ready.
All right, word. Shane's gonna go walk his dog, and then when he gets back, he's gonna do some debate promo for tomorrow.
Nice. Oh, I should probably add some context here. Join Inventionaires. Very own channel.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I went to go look for a YouTube video that got deleted or somehow it's unsearchable now. Like, for example, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but when you watch a video that's like flat earth related or some sort of conspiracy, right? And then you go through your history to search the title of that video, it doesn't show up. Like, where did it go? It's like, yeah, dude, the importance of saving that data right then, having it, controlling the media, as Stone said, is very important.
Couldn't have said it better. Absolutely. That's what it's about. I hate YouTube. You should too.
Not gonna argue with you there as I stream to YouTube.
Dude,
The secondary effect is that we take away their views. We make them
Exactly.
irrelevant, right? That's their revenue, that's their blood, and we're taking it away. We're taking the media away from them. We're taking the place people look and tossing it in the can, and here's a fully searchable place with 185,000 posts. And I don't know how many. Let me check how many thousand videos I've got going on in there. Look, nearly 3,000 videos. It's a substantial body of information, and I recommend everybody check it out. It's worth the time, and it's a very friendly environment in there. It's not a flame fest. There's no egos going around. I keep a very detailed set of rules in there, and we adhere to them quite well. People are quite well adjusted in there. It's a happy place.
Yeah, I will say
it,
every interaction in there has been pretty fantastic for me that I've had.
I was gonna say I've seen it. I've seen grown men in full disagreement in Stone's Telegram, and they just have a conversation about it.
It rocks, doesn't it?
It's great. We should all
Uh,
start our sentences with, "Well, sir, I respectfully disagree, but."
And here's why.
so I'm bringing a few speakers up. We had a few requests come in. We have Huff, Bradley, and Mr. Human. Why don't we start with Bradley? Bradley, how are you doing? You there?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Little echoey.
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, I had a question for Stone about what you were saying about these people. They said the size of the shadow was significantly larger um, than what was posted on the NASA website. Was that a calculation that they had done?
Well, yeah, it's pretty easy to do. Again, you make a scale model of what's going on, and you put them the proper distances apart, and you can also see how fuzzy the penumbra actually is when in terms of that kind of light source at that distance, at that radius, etc. So yeah, they go into immense detail about that.
Is there any evidence that their calculations are correct? Meaning, do you have like people standing in the area that is outside the path according to NASA, but inside the path according to them? And do you have anything like that?
Well, okay, you're putting two elements together here, Bradley. You're asking me about are their numbers correct? Are they verifiable? And then you're also asking me about North American observation today. So what is your question?
They've got these calculations that say we think that NASA messed up the size, and that we think that the size of the path that totality takes should be X. Have they verified that their calculations are correct by comparing their calculations with observations? And yeah, you're right.
Well,
It just happened today, so maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm
exactly.
not being fair. Maybe we should give them
I'd
a
say,
fair
Bradley.
shake.
So the calculation you're looking for is in the video. So I recommend that you watch the video. It's only 52 minutes. and right in the minute you'll in the middle of it you'll see that they when they use their model, and frankly they don't need to, they just use AutoCAD and a few other tricks. There are some engineers on the team who are fully trained, architects even, it's their business to use that software. So as far as verification goes, that's all done by observation. Nobody's got anything else, nothing else, just observation. And even in the context of what you're talking about today, if there were people outside of that path of totality or projected path of totality on the map, so to speak, the still map, if there were people outside of that projected area of totality and it was totality for them, we would see them posting. We don't. So what you see as far as calculation goes in the video is that the shadow is about 1/16th the size it should be as a penumbral shadow, according to the Globy asserted figures. So when you talk about verifying, that's the side of the fence you need to look.
Okay, I guess I'm still confused. The calculations that that Ernie Wright does at NASA comes up with what we see on NASA's website, and he runs these calculations and they put it on their map, and the shadow is so many miles wide. And then I guess I'm still confused. These guys are doing their calculations are coming up with. I mean, the math has got to be the math, right? I mean, are you saying
But
that?
Bradley, you're making these broad conclusions here, but you yourself don't even know what the math is, it sounds like.
Well, no, I can't say that I've replicated the math, but
I think you're agreeing with me.
I've looked.
So
I've
I don't
looked
know what
at.
kind of assertion you think you're making.
Here's the assertion that I'm making. The path that NASA posts on its website, that Ernie Wright puts together, whatever, however he does it, that information, to my knowledge, is accurate. So I guess
How
I'm
do you know that?
confused.
How do
Well,
you know that?
for
That's your knowledge? You know that
no,
that's
no,
accurate. How do you know that?
because of what you said, that if it wasn't accurate, you would see people posting pictures on YouTube all over the place saying, "Hey, I was outside the
Okay.
path of totality according to what NASA posted, but I was clearly, look, I was experiencing totality, and we're not seeing that." So that's my basis for saying that what's showing up on NASA's website is accurate.
Well, no, you see, what's showing up that's accurate is the prediction of the area of totality across the continent. What is not accurate, and what they're not actually telling you here, is that that final piece, the bottom line to that math they're working out, did not come mathematically by using the asserted figures they say about the Globy model system.
Yes, it
That the
did.
sun is this far away, that the sun is this wide, that the moon is this far away, that the moon is this wide, and it's going by this fast, and it's going to be this attitude. This, you can make it appear that way, and there's lots of cool numbers there. But that's the point of the video that I just brought up, Bradley, is that these guys went and made the physical model. They're not hiding behind mathematics. They put it in real space on the floor in their house. And the thing's like 20, 30 feet long, and everything is properly scaled. And you just blot out all the extraneous light in the room, make the sun the single point source, and you see the shadow and where it appears on the Earth as those begin to revolve and rotate. So you see the difference, Bradley, here is that you're looking at a set of figures presented by NASA, which reify what we're seeing in terms of the actual path physically in reality here, where on the other side of the fence here, we're looking at guys who are saying, okay, that's what we're seeing in reality. However, when you analyze this, making a real physical scale model of the model they assert is what's going on here in our solar system, quote, it just doesn't add up. In fact, it's not even close. Not even close. So before you assert more things about how their math is correct, I suggest you watch the video and get very familiar with the figures that they use.
Okay, I guess somehow I missed the fact that they were constructing a physical model and they weren't using math. And
That's
I
just
will,
one of the things they did.
okay, I will have to watch the video. My
Good, because
first,
they make more than one physical model, and the models are made for more than one purpose. They are proving many points here, many incongruities between assertion and reality, observed, measurable reality, the way we have it here, and what you see on the map that NASA pretended to predict. Yeah, two entirely different things.
well, let's be fair. They didn't pretend to predict. They posted it, and
So you have no fluency in terms of past ecliptic prediction from other sources, other cultures, other places on Earth, not just from Fred?
Fred is retired. He went
That's
into
got
the,
nothing to do with price of fish, buddy. We're talking about how Fred borrowed the Saros cycle prediction schedule and has done everything since from it. No,
yeah.
no, Bradley, come on, come on.
But the Saros cycle doesn't give you location. It only gives you time. You can only calculate the
I don't know
shadow.
about that.
Nah,
What?
you can calculate the shadow with the coefficient. Shane's already been over it. When he gets back from walking his dog, we can quickly touch on
Yeah.
that. But if there's nothing else, we're gonna move on.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check out the video. Thanks.
Cool, cool. I'll leave a
Excellent.
note here to come back to what was it? Shadow location, shadow location, because that is a good one, right? That is a good claim. But
And the width of totality is the other.
yep. Well, there's a coefficient you apply for that too. So luckily, we'll go over the history of that. All right, who was the next microphone, Toby?
Let's see here. Huff, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey,
So
man, how
did
you
you have
doing?
any questions or anything you wanted to bring to the table?
Long time no.
Oh, I mean, I think the only thing that I have, and I'm sure we've touched on it already, is is there a an experiment? Sorry, I'm also cooking dinner. Is there an experiment on Earth that has the shadow smaller than the object itself? And I'm pretty sure you're not going to find it. So that's just kind of something towards Bradley, and I'm sure we touched on it, but go ahead.
Yeah, it sounds like you're asking if anybody has produced a 3D model that has shown evidence otherwise. And I don't think so, because the math, the size of the figures and the distance between them are are always the same for everybody's replication, and their chosen scale size reflects that. So yeah, and hey, rest of the gang out there, Huff is another guy that you will find his many contributions in the SCT channel from long ago.
Yeah, I mean, like the moon is what, 23,000 miles in circumference or whatever it is. Why is there only a 70-mile shadow or whatever it is? Like, how is there? Can we replicate a shadow that is smaller than the object that is casting it?
My understanding is definitely not, but if someone can demonstrate otherwise,
I don't know
Yeah,
about
and that's
23,000
more.
there.
Sorry. Well, okay, that's fair. I'm sorry. I don't know exactly what the circumference of the moon is, but the point is, it is much bigger than 70 miles. At least 70 miles was the last figure that I saw. I don't know if it's changed, but the point still becomes, if it's so much bigger, how is there a shadow smaller than the object casting it? And can we replicate that on Earth? And to my knowledge, as we've already addressed, I don't think that there has been an experiment in that realm. Sorry, and
I
I'll
think
end there.
I think it's important to take the alleged size or diameter of the sun into account when making that calculation about how big the shadow would be, not just its distance, not just assuming that the rays are parallel, because they're not according to the math. They're closer, but they're not actually. It's just that I agree that a lot of the cross-sectional drawings of just the moon and the earth, and they bring the sun in really close so that it can be in the same image, and then they completely exaggerate the penumbral angles away from the moon to the earth, so to speak, to create the focal point. I agree that those are all quite misleading. But when you look at the scale models, you also have to take into account the diameter allegedly of the sun. And I would point out, as an observational point, that NASA and the gang assert strongly that the sun is a big ball of gas. But somehow it's got this really crispy, well-defined edge to it. I don't get that. But that's me, just an aside point. Anyways, back to the show.
Dude, thanks for that, Stone. And yeah, on that, on the gaseous surface and that crisp line, man, I was watching that. What's his name? Robitaille, Marie Robitaille, I think his name is. Anyway,
Yeah.
or Perry, yeah, that or Perry. Anyway, that guy has a whole thing on that, and it's insane. So we're definitely going to be touching into spectroscopy. That's actually going to be on Thursday. We're going to be reading one of his papers that kind of goes over the whole shebang of it and the problems with that gaseous nature and that crisp line, because they have it all modeled out based off of just pure mathematics, essentially, right? But in reality, if there's no surface to create the pressure, then there's can't be a kinetic energy exchange to create that crisp line. So very cool stuff. We'll be getting into that.
Yeah, that guy is a blast. I
Dude,
really loved his one where he dismantled not Professor Dave
yeah,
with such.
that was the first one I watched. It was so educational, man. He just point by point and just so professional, man.
Yep.
Broke it down on such a high level. Much respect to that guy. And then so Shane's back, I think, from walking his dog, so we can cycle back to shadow location, shadow width, and and the difference between a post-diction and a prediction. Shane, if you're here, sir. Although it doesn't look like he has a mic on my end. Yeah. All right, I sent him mic allegedly.
Yeah. Same.
Is that, I think? No.
Nice,
Nope.
it worked. Dude, I love when it works. Nice.
All right.
That's what's up.
Are we talking penumbra umbra? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, so the location and the width, obviously, and then the difference between a post-diction and a prediction, because
Sure.
how
And
everything's
how much
cyclical.
data we actually get from the Saros chart, what we can derive from it.
Well, so the Saros chart, we say, is just put together by Fred, who traveled the world and went to the ancient cultures, presumably aggregating all of this data and then performing the actual cycle to create the in perpetuity cyclical nature to get where they have today, which actually is how they get timeanddate.com, sun and light, in ad infinitum. But what we get is lat long, so literally geographic, geodesic, celestial coordinates. So if you want to argue there, I mean, if I was a Glober, that's where I'd probably argue, right? We can't map it anywhere because we don't have a map. Everything's the celestial coordinates, which are curved. But we get lat long, path width, sun altitude, sun azimuth, central line, duration, eclipse type, eclipse magnitude, and integer format, hours, minutes, seconds of eclipse, lunation number, plate, Saros number, catalog number, and then the year broken down by a whole bunch of other ones, plus gamma, and that's it. So those pretty much are the attributes that Saros gives us. So that's what the cycle would give us. In addition,
so how many of those parameters would you attribute to calculating its actual path?
2, 3. There's like the lat long and the path width, and then there's another modifier for the the magnitude of the shadow. So the central.
Those are all. I'm sorry. Those are all first order values, like right in the chart.
Yeah.
Already don't have to calculate them. Cool.
Yep.
So there you go, Bradley.
Yep. Well, what was the question?
Oh yeah,
Whether or not the Saros cycle gives you the location of the shadow.
Yeah, I mean, that what he just described is not accurate. He's referring to a line on, a table, and yeah, one of the columns says Saros cycle, and then there's all this other information, but that other information didn't come from the quote unquote Saros cycle. Saros cycle all it is it's a time figure. It's 18 years, whatever. I mean, I don't know it offhand, but it's just a time. That's all Saros cycle gives you is time. The time between sets of related eclipses. It doesn't give you lat long and stuff like that because the Babylonians didn't have the concept of lat long. So how would they even how could you derive lat long from a culture that didn't believe that the earth was round? I mean,
well, when you know that, hey, an eclipse happens here, and then the next time the same eclipse happens like over there, and they're like, hey, from here to there is however the hell they measured distance in sky miles back then, and they say, hey, this eclipse will happen that distance away over there. And eventually they probably figured out after 3, they get this exogenous cycle, which means it's roughly back where it is, minus the integer of the remainder of the difference in sidereal and solar time, so that it perpetually has to go through the equinox to create a grand cycle within its big cycle. And that's essentially how it moves around, man. So they definitely knew that.
Let's think this through. They see an eclipse, okay? The next one is going to happen not an even day distance, time duration. It's 8 hours difference, which means that it's happening, if you believe the globe model, it's happening 1/3 of the way around the earth. So like if an eclipse happens in Babylon, the next one in the same Saros cycle is going to happen in America. So the Babylonians didn't know about America, and they didn't know about the next third over, which lies someplace in the Pacific. I mean, this is not how. This doesn't make sense just from a logistics standpoint. We're not talking about an eclipse happening here and then happening, 500 miles away. We're talking thousands and thousands of miles on, a completely other side of the earth.
Yeah, but none of that addressed anything that Shane just said. So you're either going to need to start replying with a bit more specificity in regards to what
What?
Shane said with the integral and the difference he explained quite
No,
succinctly,
no.
or you're going to have to wrap it up, one or the other.
So also you mentioned the Saros, like literally from his story, that was one cycle. So the Saros, like from the ancient tablet, they had one lunar cycle, like 18 years or however many days and however many hours. That's what that cycle refers to. However, they were familiar with the repetition of the smaller cycle within the bigger cycle, like the micro within the macro, etc., because that's how they had the giant calendar to do all the end of days, right? So they put together the smaller within the bigger to get the actual 651 year total grand eclipse cycle, which would be the repetition of a smaller lunar cycle within 38-ish times. So 73 different eclipse series would take place with it as it tries to find its way back to where it started, processing a little bit at a time throughout the equinox and moving laterally along not the globe, but the world. And they knew that when this eclipse happened, if it was this way, it would go north. And if it was this way, it would go south. They knew that too. That was part of this, all the ancient cultures.
Okay. I'm going to step down. I guess what I'd ask for is, do you have any archaeological evidence that Babylonians knew where eclipses were going to occur?
Dude, I don't even have any evidence that they existed at all. I don't trust history past 1900, so I'm with you, bro.
That's fair. That's fair.
Dude, respect, bro. I don't have any evidence that they existed at all. All right, yo, what's up, Bardock? I seen you had your hand raised. You can go, brother. What's good?
There is evidence that they had some advanced math predicting the magnitude and direction of the eclipses. There's a book on it actually, on analyzing an ancient cuneiform and some of the math that they were using, and reinterpreting it for like modern times kind of thing, like in modern language.
Nice.
And I think, yeah, I can post that, but
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I want I wanted to touch on something with Shane, and that was if he was
Oh, aren't we fighting or something?
no, just a minor point between us. I wouldn't call it a fight, but I was curious if you're interested in betting on something you stated explicitly, which is that
Probably.
that the Saros cycle repeats every X amount of time, and the eclipse will happen exactly in the same place it did. I think it's 651 years from now or something like that.
Yep.
Okay,
that is my claim. Yeah.
So my question is if you're willing to like bet money on that.
I mean, you want to do like what's it in 10 grand? Are you talking like $100?
No, yeah, no, not even 100. Like just like
Taste
just
Astro for 639 years.
Dude, I'll
But
do
what's
like
your
60
side of the
bucks or
bet,
whatever.
Bardic? What are you asserting in contrast?
that it doesn't.
Well, I mean, cool. Yeah, we should do that, and then I shouldn't say anything else, probably.
So exactly the same spot though, right? The same, like I noticed none of you are using the stone in particular isn't using the terms path of totality. And I'm curious if there's a reason behind that.
I've used the path of totality as a term at least half a dozen times tonight so far.
Okay, cool. I just got in like 5 minutes ago, so I just haven't heard
Well,
that.
then you shouldn't be making that assumption, should you? Come on, man.
I
Don't be
said
messing with our QC
what
department.
did
He
I
will
say,
put you
Stone?
down,
I
Bardic.
said I haven't heard you use that word, which is true. So I can make that
But you
assumption
haven't been here to not
because
hear it. Come on.
I didn't claim you didn't use it while I wasn't in the room, did
All
I?
right.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
You get out of town. I really don't like your tone.
Let's get back into
You're
town. You said you had a question for Shane.
yeah, so you're willing to take that bet, Shane?
Like, so it'd be in the exact same spot according to the stars, right? Because that's where the
according
stars
to the
will be.
Saros cycle,
Yeah.
it repeats.
Yeah, right. But like, so if the stars do a cycle in 18 years, will the zodiac that was above me be exactly above me, or will it be skewed?
I didn't say stars though, right? I'm talking about an eclipse.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm thinking about it, because let's go with stars. Because again, you guys the Globers would think that it's the Earth spinning, but it's really just the luminaries spinning above us. So the sun and the moon are moving
Why are you
within a
bringing in
network of
stars?
moving.
Why
Well,
are
I'm
you
just
bringing
putting
in
it in
stars? We're
perspective
talking about an
for the
eclipse.
background, right? But they're only known, their position is based on the other stars. Otherwise, how would you equate to where they are, where they rise, etc.?
Because I'm in a town A,
GPS.
an eclipse happens in a town A every X amount of time. You claim that it does because it's based on the Saros cycle.
Right.
The globe claims it doesn't because there's orbital mechanics involved. So I don't need the stars to be in town A to know that
they claim that it's orbital mechanics. That's why, like Newtonian physics and mass attracting mass.
You're diverging. So
well, come on, just answer that.
The claim is he's not clarifying.
Yeah, no, he said, is that what you're saying? That they're saying that it's a mass attracting mass to explain it, that they're using Newtonian dynamics?
That's not the point. It has nothing to do with that.
Oh, well, why did you say it? Sorry, it seemed like it was, my bad.
It has nothing to do with it. The eclipse happens at a point A. Will it happen exactly the same place based on the Saros cycle alone?
Right. So the difference there would be like, it'll happen exactly where the stars circle back around at that point.
No,
but
it has
that will
nothing to do
be
with stars.
a little skewed.
Why are you bringing in stars? I said town. I'm on the ground.
Yeah, because you're going to try and compare it with the GPS, and it'll be like a slightly
has nothing
askew.
to do with GPS. It's the town.
But it'll be like within fucking, I don't know, 10%, 5%. I don't know.
Also,
Here, let's find two.
It diverges 10% or 5%.
600. Yeah, well, no, I'm just guessing, dude, because I'm trying to figure out what could possibly go wrong where it wouldn't be that way. Like, what did you see where you're like, I need to put money in?
Well, you shouldn't focus on that. You should just focus on what you've claimed. You've made the claim that it will happen in the exact same spot. I don't need GPS. I don't need stars. I just need like a landmark, could be like a building, right? At this building in this town at this time, it hasn't changed.
Wow, look at that. But it's a sampling of like 30 eclipses, 651 years apart. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that bet, dude.
So the exact same spot. Are you like screen sharing or something?
Nope, it's secret. Only solid flat earthers are allowed to have this spreadsheet.
Okay. So do you have any information on Saros cycle only predictions out past like 500 years? 'Cause I've only seen like 100-year projection. Do you have something you could point me to for longer than that?
Yeah, there's a thing called an INEX, and then there's a INEX Saros thing, which is this giant mural of someone doing something retarded like 61,700 solar eclipses from like the year negative 11,000, which has never existed, to the year 15,000, which will never exist. And then it has
hold
like
on,
the
hold
giant.
on. So what's it called?
It's the Saros INEX panorama. Here, I give you the link.
Saros INEX panorama. Awesome. And you're saying it has a 6,000-year prediction.
Yeah, so it maps and graphs out all of the types and like not all the attributes, but it does partial, total, numeral, middle, central, Saros series, and ends, I think. So it does a whole bunch of basic parameters, and then it uses a spreadsheet to map it out, and it takes 7 sheets to go through the whole thing. But my thing is that why would they do such a giant periodicity when we know that there's only like 7 periods of 651 years in total perpetuity? Like, why would they graph it out to the ridiculous degree?
So this is the one from Fred Espenak, right? In the NASA page?
I don't think Fred did this. I think somebody else did it. But yeah, I think it's from Professor von den Berg in Periodicity and Variation of Solar and Lunar Eclipses, his book.
Periodicity, okay.
Variation of solar eclipses, yeah. But that's
Can you
like
post that in the timeline or not the timeline, the chat?
It is, of course, also guess where else?
Where?
On my database, published right here, ready to be seen, viewed, messed with, etc.
I'm not seeing your screen share. For some
I'm
reason.
not sharing. It's on the database, bro. It's under INEX, and it's all the pictures. Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying this will show is that over the course of 651 years, it will be in the exact same place.
Yeah, right exactly where the stars were. Yep.
Not where the stars were. I don't know.
Well, don't worry. Your
GPS
has
nothing to do with it.
Your GPS is entirely based on
has
the
nothing to do with
stars.
GPS.
I wouldn't worry.
Position on the Earth,
right,
on your stationary flat Earth,
within the celestial coordinates. Sure.
No, like it could be again a building that's been there, or like a monument, like a rock or something. You know, like a mountain stone move. Right. So the peak of a mountain.
But Bartik, I think what you're misunderstanding is you're thinking from a terrestrial point of view when it actually happens in a celestial point of view. So it will happen in the same position that the stars are at, but that will not necessarily translate to the Earth plane. Does that make sense?
About? Eclipses happen in the stars?
No, the position in the overall celestial sphere will be the same, but it will happen on a different point terrestrially. I don't think that's what you're understanding. That's what Shane is trying to get across. That's what Shane is trying to get across, is that the stars progress ever so slightly every year. And so over the course of 657 years, it's not going to happen exactly over the same landmark terrestrially. But if you look at it from the stars are a sphere, it will happen in the same place within the sky.
This is a completely separate claim. Up to now, the claim has been that the eclipses recur in a cycle, and their shadow, where you can see it, happens cyclically on the Earth. Because if this is a completely you're wow, I don't even know how to deal with this. So you're saying there is variability in the celestial sphere, but so there's variability on the ground, like on the Earth. It doesn't happen in a cycle on our stationary flat plane. It doesn't recur. This is what you're saying, whoever that was, Huff?
No, he said they both explained it pretty clearly that it's relative to the stars and that if there's a slight rotation of the stars, then that's going to change on the Earth, right?
So eclipses don't repeat on the Earth. The where it happens on the Earth does not repeat. It's not cyclical. This is what you're saying. Is that statement correct?
Well, there still would be a cyclical pattern to it.
So there would be a cyclical pattern.
There you go.
On the
There's-
Earth. And
Yeah,
it
so
repeats.
honestly, so like we're talking about a 651-year cycle, and we're talking about like a bet about a 651-year cycle, something 651 years down the road. I'm assuming this is all just a joke because we're not going to put something in escrow for 651 years.
No, I would just have to show evidence that that claim is wrong. We don't have to wait 51 years.
How are you gonna? I mean, that's gonna be up to you guys on the level of proof you'd want to put on that. But in any case, like let's try to keep it to the subject. Is there anything that doesn't make sense about the explanation that you were provided that you want to address?
Can you explain it, Ken? Can you explain the explanation that it's both cyclical but doesn't reoccur on the flat Earth?
No,
I'd
it
love
does.
to hear your explanation of that.
Yeah,
totally
you're. This is remember when we start. Oh, you weren't here when we started the space, Bardic. But
wasn't, no.
When we started the space, I kind of put a disclaimer out there that we're not going to entertain circular conversations. So if you're just going to be like incredulous and we're going to explain the same thing over and over again, and you're going to pretend like you're either going to pretend like you can't understand it or refuse to understand it. Then,
okay, got it. All right.
See, so this is So you're literally not even trying to entertain.
I am. Shane knows I am. You guys know I am.
Why don't you go ahead?
I think I can explain it.
Exercise. All right. Actually.
No, I want you just came in and said it's been explained.
Explain it. Let's have Ken
I want you
explain
to
it.
explain what's been explained. I'd love to hear it.
Hey,
I don't want to take your
Hey,
microphone.
we're gonna let Ken speak now. Thank you. Go ahead, Ken. Break it down, brother.
Yeah. So basically what he's doing is he's trying to say this patch of dirt right here. I want that back over this patch of dirt. That's where it has to be.
Well, that's what a cycle is.
Wait a minute now. I do not see how you get that, because the people that made this Saros cycle, that figured all this stuff out, were not looking at a patch of dirt. They were looking at where the stars are. And if you know where the stars are, when those things happen, then you can follow the motion of the stars and say, okay, it's going to happen here because the stars will move and they will be here. So the location will be in that spot. And yes, it's going to come back around. But if there's progression in the stars over that period that do not repeat exactly over that patch of dirt, then it's not going to be exactly over that patch of dirt. You're trying to take something that is studied within the celestial sphere and is figured out by looking at the celestial sphere, and you're saying, why can't you put it on the ground? Well, you can, but you have to know where the stars are. If you know where the stars are, you can put it on the ground. If you don't know where the stars are, you can't put it on the ground. And so you're saying, well, it's not a cycle because it's not happening over this patch of dirt. But it is a cycle because it matches the stars, which was studied to begin with. I don't even know this stuff, and I've got that much just by listening.
So
and
you're
what
on
you're
a mountain.
doing is you're doing a little bit of giggling, a little bit of laughing, a little bit of shuffling over here and saying, but what about, and you're not listening. I can listen and I can pick up that much.
So the solar eclipse has nothing to do with the stars except for the sun and the moon. And let's say you're on a mountain. The mountain doesn't move over the course of 700 years.
Yo, real quick, you got 30 seconds to wrap it up, Bardic.
So you're on a mountain, you observe the eclipse above you, a total eclipse. You're in the umbra, the shadow of the eclipse. So what you're saying is the next time you see that, it will move slightly from that mountain, right? And then over the course of the cycle, it will come back to that place that you originally observed it while you were standing on that mountain. That's the nature of a cycle, of a repeating cycle as claimed by Shane. So what has changed about the stars that makes that not true? The mountain's the same, the eclipse happening in the same place, if it's true what he's saying about the Saros cycle. What's changed? What am I not understanding?
You mean as far as the cycle? You're talking about, I
Why
don't know
don't you
how to
just
explain
provide
it any
evidence?
simpler than the fact that if you sit and you look at the stars, they don't have the same, that they don't match up
The
exactly
procession of the
all the
stars.
time. But
But yeah, thanks, Bartek.
right,
Appreciate it. So we're gonna rotate to the next microphone now. D3, what's up?
Hold on, I got you,
Uh,
Bartek.
how you guys doing? Can you hear me or not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, coming
Okay,
through
cool.
clear.
Yeah, man, how's it going?
I'm good, man. That was a little painful. I was hoping he would just present the evidence he had to refute it, but it's all right. I just had a question about the videos that SpaceX put out with the visual on the shadow. Have you guys seen those?
Nope.
I posted it in it wouldn't let me share it to the Jumbo, so I just posted it on the actual post that you guys have as a reply. So they have a
I
visual
got it on the
there
jumbo
of,
for you.
thank you. They have a visual there with the shadow. I don't know, man. When you guys look at that, my question is, does that look like a shadow to you, or does it look like a phenomenon that's actually taking place on the atmosphere somewhere?
Well, I
It
thought,
looks like an overlay on the image to me.
yeah, I thought
Right.
this video looked insanely fake. Actually, my first watch of it earlier.
Embarrassingly so.
Yep, agreed.
Okay. So you guys say CGI. All right, I got you.
That's not even the one that I saw, but yeah, let me post the one that I saw because it looks just as fake.
Okay. All right, cool. And what if? All right, so let's just play along with SpaceX and whoever else has videos like this, NASA or whatever. Let's say that that's how it looks. What would you infer if that's how it looks? Like, to me, it doesn't look like a shadow at all. Underneath it, yeah, we see a shadow, but from above, that doesn't look like a shadow to me. 200,000 mile, something 200,000 miles away. Okay, I guess I'll leave it there. Maybe
No, I don't know what else to tell you, man.
Yeah, sorry.
I
I was looking at it again. It just looks like a dot. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, some weird. Okay, all right. Thanks, guys.
I took a screenshot. I want to run it through photo forensics.
Yeah, I just posted a news feed that was supposedly from the ISS also. That's just so fake. It's ridiculous. When you have the eyes to see.
Oh, dude, they got ballsy with it. I didn't know they were doing these. Have you guys seen the Discover satellite images where they tried to use a couple of those to say that, like, oh, we got a rare glimpse of the eclipse shadow or whatever, and during our passage, and it looks so bad. Like, these look somehow worse. These are the upgraded versions, dude, of a closer thing. That's crazy because Discover's like, I forget what it is, but it's like 1,000,000 or so miles out, allegedly, and then the ISS is like, what, 250 miles? Crazy. Anyway, let's take a look here and see what we got.
Of the eclipse, they're able to see not.
All right, cool. I watched about 5 seconds of it. Audience?
Okay, can somebody tell me with the NASA
Sorry,
one?
Stone.
Can somebody tell me with the NASA one in the last few seconds here, 15 seconds to go, where on Earth we are? Because to me, that doesn't look like Texas or anything of the sort. Like where is that supposed to be?
Oh, yeah, we're over geographic location, bro.
Yeah, well, not only that, but like when you look at it, the shadow doesn't even really move. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just tweeted him. I want my money back. Money back.
Oh, wait, it says
Sorry.
Fulton, doesn't it? Give me a sec. I got to check that out on Google Earth. I think it said Holton right at the beginning. And yeah, that's not Houston, is it? Is that a typo?
It looks like it says Holton to me. Yeah.
Yeah, oh snap, it does. Houlton.
All right, we got a post here from Shane. I think were you following up with Bardic here? You want to walk us through the post in order, Shane?
Crap. Hold on. Yeah. Let me look at them.
Oh, your fans in the background, if you're able to fix that.
Sorry, dude. What are you doing? You can't stay there. We got, so the first one was the Saros Index Panorama, right?
Huh?
A wonderful image of the giant, way more than there's ever been or ever will be number of eclipses graphed out. And they did so to hide within the periodicity and the greater astronomical year cycle because they don't want you to know that, or they wouldn't have things in the solar cycle literally in specific lunar and solar epitomes. Instead of combining them together, you'll never get a full cycle unless you combine solar and lunar eclipses, first of all. So then they mapped this out, right? This guy did it way back in the 50s. His name was von Don Berg or something. And he did a periodicity and variation of solar and lunar eclipses, combined solar and lunar, put them in there, and graphed it out in perpetuity. They have like along the bottom, I think is the index number, and along the left is the Saros number. So that's the relationship there. They get huge. And if you're looking for how it would recur, there's a nice side image there, which goes through how it actually recurs, celestially, but not terrestrially, I guess would be. So the secular changes in the moons occur exactly the same time. And they go back to the periodicity of the celestial cycle. And that's really what we're always talking about. And then I think another one, so I put one with the 3 cycles repeating with a bunch of text and the sun and the moon on that zodiac clock app, I think. Right, so that one is a bunch of text that goes through really the recurring periodicity of Saros and how the draconic, synodic, and animalistic months sort of repeat and coincide. And then when they do repeat, they repeat exactly. But where they repeat is 4 degrees different or 4 minutes different because of sidereal and solar difference. And that's the actual precession of the equinox. So that causes the actual precession of the lunar cycle into the grand lunar cycle. And that's how we get the actual repetition all the way back to where it started. I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice. Thank you. Perfect.
We got a post from Bradley. It says, this may seem to nitpick, but honestly, I'm trying to help you guys out and prevent some other glober from making a big deal over you guys being wrong about anything. My advice is to stop saying that the figures on the NASA website come from Fred Aspernack, retired in 2009. If you look at the NASA website, you will see that the calculations are now done by Ernie Wright. Again, I know you guys are getting the name wrong, but obviously nothing that's not, but it proves absolutely nothing about the actual question we were debating. But might just serve to prevent some needless bickering around irrelevant details. Just a suggestion. Thanks for hooking that up, Bradley. Much appreciated.
I mean,
but that still doesn't change the fact that Fred's the one that went around and gathered up all the ancient knowledge and put it all into one source, right? I mean, everyone is still using Fred's data, no matter who the frick is working at NASA today.
Pretending to calculate the new Besselian circumstances of solar eclipses. But like, Fred is still on YouTube actively doing this stuff, talking, and has his own channel, was definitely broadcasting this eclipse. Like, Fred is the man. They're like, yeah, but he works at NASA. And it's like, yeah, he works at NASA the way a tenured professor on vacation sabbatical works for the dean, right? Like they just recruited him and they used all this stuff and he's the man. So that's just how that works. I'd like to know exactly what he did and how he did it.
Dude, it was just a suggestion. I'm just saying that if you go to NASA's website, it says it clear as day that the calculations are done by Ernie Wright. You can do whatever you want. I'm just trying to help you out because I know somebody's gonna pounce on you. But
Maybe.
whatever, you do you.
Appreciate
Well, when they
man.
pounce on us, we'll just tell them exactly what we just explained to you.
Also, what would Ernie be able to do without Fred? Ernie's like, pressing the buttons. Fred built the machine,
A shout out to Ernie for picking up the legacy, though. It's useful
Thanks,
information.
Ernie.
Thanks for the heads up, Brad. Much appreciated. See what else we got going on in here. We got any other posts, questions, comments?
Mr. Human, Mr. Humane, are you there?
Yeah, what's up? Can you guys hear me all
welcome.
right?
Yeah. Did you have a
sorry.
question or something you wanted to throw on the table?
Yeah, well, a question for sure, and it has to do. So I was in Utah. We didn't see a full, lunar, but when I was looking up at it today, I noticed, and I only know this because I got a 4-year-old, but the shape of it, it wasn't like a perfect arch. It lined out. It looked like half of a Pokeball, if you've ever seen Pokemon. And it was a really odd shape, and I couldn't really figure it out, but it went straight and then a smaller circle and then another one. So I don't know if the question was if anyone else noticed anything weird about the shape of it. But my real question and kind of thought is in regards to what Stone was saying about YouTube and kind of bypassing this, and with what you guys have been doing, because I think, first of all, I'm really proud and grateful for all the work you guys have been putting in. It's crazy learning everything that you guys are doing. But do you think that as flat earthers and realizing that we've been lied to, that it would be important to take that same attitude with the ether? And it's obvious they know something about it if they have things by following the same trajectory as the flower of life and things like that with the ISS or satellites or however they get things up there, with whether that's electrostatic antigravitic propulsion or whatever, as obviously it's been kind of hijacked and put in the hands of psychotics. I'm just wondering what you guys' thoughts are on this, because it's obvious we're not going to change the way things are in mainstream science. It's almost as if we have to do a whole new thing. And so I'm wondering what your guys' thoughts are on that.
Absolutely, brother. So one of the biggest thing that I noticed while, doing this research on the subject and going over the history of it is that their interpretation of reality is just a model. It's all based on mathematics and probability functions applied to wave mechanics, which come from the concept of how many oscillations are happening per second, like cycles and a frequency, like hertz and all that. So it's everything that they've been describing this whole time has always been about oscillations per second, like waves in a medium, like what's waving, right? And then there's the fact that you can measure motion with interferometry, right? So that provides a basis framework for the concept of, okay, there's an absolute space, there's an absolute reference frame that all motion is relative to. Then you get into the propagation of electromagnetic waves through that medium, which it's one of those things where it's what's the word, like an antecedent, like it's just super intuitive, like it just works together cohesively. You don't have to go, well, there's no actual medium. What's really happening is there's a quantized part of the energy that we're multiplying times the frequency. It's we're just playing hide the electron. So you don't have to do any of that. It's just very simple and straightforward. It's a material medium which electromagnetic waves propagate through, and you can measure motion relative to it with nanometer precision. It's And people will be like, well, a lot of the rhetoric, right, that we've developed is like, okay, well, show me space time. Where's your jar of space time? How are you manipulating it, right? So you apply that same rhetoric to the ether. Where's your jar of ether time, right, or whatever, right? But it's not really analogous to the situation when you look at what it is and what's producing these measurements, right? Like, what's the backbone of this technology and how it functions, and you can kind of see that there's more to it than just there's no medium and everything's a probability function based off of quantized energy.
Well, yeah, and it seems they seem to understand that at some level, these people understand how to at least manipulate it, to the point where they're keeping things up, in the sky. I don't know what they've got up there, if they are just balloons, but it seems like it's a little more than that. Um, but I'm just curious as to if we could gain a full understanding of the actual, technology and how that works. Wouldn't it be important for us, like, I don't know, just recently starting to try and do electroculture gardening, and it's crazy how much it affects just the growth of vegetables. Um, so I'm just kind of wondering if there's what's the next step, and what's the next thing that we could be doing with this information? What could we be building and doing to, replace this system that is, because it's kind of like we can bitch about being lied to. It's kind of like being mad at your dad until you're 27, and then you realize, oh, well, now I'm 27 and I'm responsible to do my own healing. At what point do we, as people who understand the truth, start to build something new to, actually make this place better? And I'm just wondering if that's on the radar of people's minds when, we're learning all this information about it. I don't know.
Well,
I
yeah,
just
I
wanted to
would.
kind of,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. No, I just wanted to kind of put that out there because,
Yeah. So,
it,
I mean, like, we're all doing research kind of at our own rates, and I would just say that for me, um, I'm still learning. I'm still digging into things, but my top priority, honestly, is just truth. And so
yeah,
that means like just exposing deception. And like as of right now, I feel like I feel like I just walked into like a swamp or like a house that's been like swamped or something. So I'm still like getting all like the swampy water out and I'm trying to like clean things up and like I don't know, like I feel like I'm still on step 1 of like waking people up and being like, "Yo, we've been
yeah,
lied to. This is insane. Relativity is utter nonsense." Like there's a background medium, the stuff you intuited as a child that everything's connected through through something in the air, like, that stuff is all like, that's me, like, that's my priority right now, like, ring that alarm bell, wake people up, get people interested in science again, because I think, like, for me, I know for me,
oh,
realizing that got me interested in science again.
yeah,
So
it's a dead end, the heliocentric model. I mean, what are you left with other than the choices that you were created by aliens and, well, we're just expanding into nothing. It's like it's a dead end, and it leaves people feeling hopeless. And I
yep.
don't know. I guess I've been at this for like I actually got sober because I found out the Earth was flat, like back in 2017 on ODD stuff, and so I it, I don't know. I think I tend to forget, but I do really appreciate the model that has been, Shane, your model is like insanely awesome to be able to show that to people. I use it on my Instagram videos and things and try and put it out there because I think that is when you have something to present to people, it makes it a lot more digestible because the reality is we don't the general population are not going to understand the scientific, even the language of it. It's like that's why people say that Austin's spitting uh word salad. It's because they just don't understand it, and I could see how that would get
Sure.
people interested in it again. But
Well, you mentioned replacing the system with a new system, and I think as a band-aid, it could be more changed in
well,
terms of effective
yeah, I
just by
don't
replacing
I
the
don't think
people
as
at the
far as
top,
following.
just by, hey,
Oh, I was just saying not replacing it with another model because that's what these liars have done, right? They've just given us models. So I get that, but
Your main point is how can we
No,
utilize the
no,
medium?
hold on, Ching, just for a sec. You were talking about the academic system, the education system, and I don't think we need to replace it with a new one immediately. More like replacing the people at the top, the ones who are in control of the curriculum, the ones who are in control of the MO of education itself, the pedagogical aspect of what's going on here. And
Yes, that's
you'll notice that there have been, I don't know, if you're watching what's going on in cosmology and some other places, there's a lot of talk about how draconian the
yeah,
teachers act when they're laying down the curriculum, and this is entirely inappropriate. So when we rework it from the top, we can actually use the system that's there, because I agree with the premise of higher learning and the establishments who support it, and that we fund them, and that they develop proper curriculum. Once we get to that point, then yeah, I think we'll be heading more into the right direction, sure. But on your other question of learning more about it as much as we can and then putting it to better use, I would put that question back to you and say, okay, don't answer me now, but hey, what did you have in mind?
yeah. Well, and
What would
that kind
that
of
be?
opens
What's
the
that going to
door.
look like?
Yeah,
And that might even come from you. Don't limit yourself. Don't ask us,
yeah,
man. It might come out of your brilliant idea.
yeah. I understand that fully, and I was just, yeah, I don't know. I You said that thing about the YouTube, and it just got me thinking about the whole system as a whole, and it is draconian, and I don't know that there's I don't know. I just don't know that there's much saving it, you know? And at what point do we
It's
wash
a
our
top
hands
down
of it and do
solution. I think it's going to be a top down solution. Yeah.
well, I do appreciate everything that you guys do, and it's definitely growing, and people even at I work in a treatment center, and it's crazy to me because most people know that that the government is lying to them, and I just simply ask them, well, why would they tell you the truth about where you live when it's the most foundational thing of it's what they get you with when you're a child. And so I'm super interested in how that works and what that does to our psyche. But yeah, I'm excited for what you guys do, and I appreciate you. So I just wanted to put it out there. So I'm trying to get more involved, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do with this. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Also, shout out to Kat down there on the list. I see you, and I hope the DMSO is working.
Yeah. Let's see, where are we at? So we got, let's see, Jason, do you want to come up tonight? You had some critiques earlier on the timeline or some thoughts maybe? Would you like to discuss and share? Maybe we can have a conversation about it. If not, totally cool. We can move on to Jared. Come on. Broken dreams. We got broken dreams. You accept that?
Yes, sir, I did.
And Jason and Mike in case he wants to come up. I can't even. All right. I actually am tired of scrolling. Don't see it. But anyway, quest. Okay, we got that one. All right, so we got what was it, like 3 or 4 more. So if we're gonna wrap up after these. So if anyone else wants to jump in now, do hand emojis or request a mic, and we'll get you up. But from this point on, I think we're gonna start to wrap up with these last 3 or 4 people.
So, I was gonna say I don't want to derail too much, but it's kind of weird having Shinku not talk most of the spaces I'm in. He's all about that, and then he puts his hand up.
Dude, he's the beast. I threw him a pre-dunk earlier and was like, yo, Sinku, did you see the sun slap the moon or whatever earlier? And he didn't unmute. I was kind of disappointed.
I'm sorry, bro.
Right?
I was driving, bro. My bad, bro.
Oh, word. No worries.
No, I just wanted to add real quick. I know we talked the other day about that patent, and I had another idea I wanted to throw on top of it to make it more easier to digest. Um, if you can imagine, you have a window in front of you, and you open that window, and all you see in front of you is water, and that water is violently moving. but it's not coming inside of the window you just opened. But the moment you put your hand into this water, you become that water. That's how the teleportation device works.
Ah, the old remolecularized structure water teleportation mechanism.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then their inertial mass device, which is basically anti-gravity. It puts obviously a bubble around you, but like I find it funny how whenever you move, you gain mass because the background medium is like becoming part of you. So it's like whenever you're running, you're not getting tired because like your weight hasn't changed, the pace you're going hasn't changed. Why are you getting tired if you're running endurance? It's because your mass is changing because you're taking on more of the medium since you're moving through it. That's what you're actually training for.
Ah, there's a little energy exchange going on there.
Nice.
And then to wrap up what Mr. Hugh was saying about as far as like are we tapping in? I mean, that's kind of like what I tweet about a lot is to kind of force that ideology is like if we don't tap in, like we can't really win. I mean, Matt Rife is also utilizing this technology to some way to kind of help, which is great. But as far as like a big like fight back mechanism, yeah, we're gonna have to have a lot of money for that, bro, because a lot of their technology has a lot of money thrown into it.
Yo, thanks, thank you.
All right. Yeah, how about this? At 10 past the hour here, we'll stop doing mic request. So if anyone else still wants to come up or whatever, still got time to request, and then we'll start cycling out at 10 past the hour.
That sounds good.
I'm just.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Toby. Real quick, I am just going to sign off now. I gotta put the chillins to bed, but just want to say good night. I love you guys. Love you all. It's always a pleasure, and I'm glad that we're doing more of these types of spaces. I know that I haven't branched out too much into these, but they're always fun. So I will talk to you guys later.
Yeah, well,
and
thanks for coming
love
out,
you
man.
all. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, take care. Thanks for being here.
Oh, and real quick before I go, Toby, isn't it cheating to have 2 accounts in the space? I mean, come on, man.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit cheap, but I gotta this way I can host it from my phone, and then I can still use my nice mic on my desktop and stream from my desktop. So
that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, I'll catch you guys later.
Yo, take
Peace,
care, Hub.
bro.
Go pick a good storybook.
Let's see here. We got Kevin Bow, I think, was next in line. Or no, I think it was Jared, then Kevin. So we'll do Jared Pet. You want to chime in?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got a question, right? Okay. So the divers, they just found an underwater cavern that's has more water than Earth. So that obviously debunks the fact that asteroids brought water to Earth. The water was already here. So aren't a lot of the things that we're being told not true, but the things that we read are still true? Because they always said that water came from Earth and Mother Earth. And now that we know that that's true, aren't a lot of things being proven by what we read instead of what people are telling us? That's kind of what I've been thinking about and trying to talk about in some of these communities, because you have flat earth theory, you have theories about all this other kind of stuff, but a lot of the stuff that people are talking about is written down places. So is it really not a theory if it's written down?
I think we should adopt a new term, and we should call it flat earth science, because we are treating it empirically. We are using the scientific method as much as we can because the globies demand it of us. And I think that what we do is worthy of that kind of respect by use of that kind of term. So call it flat earth science from now on.
Right, because we need to stop using theory, because these things are no longer theory that
We're
Theory, belief,
finding
cult, all of those words. Theory, belief, cult. You pick your E, none of the above word. Just use science instead and watch it grow as a new colloquial.
right, because isn't now that we found things about Jesus, we found things about Noah, and we found things about trees from different thousands of years ago. It's now science. It's no longer theory. We found this stuff. It's science.
Well, on the one point, I will agree with you that we've found silicon-based tree growth, and that it's massive compared to the scale on which we live. I'll agree with you on that one.
Exactly. Like we're finding these things. I mean, and yes, there's a lot of, hey, I don't believe that, or hey, I don't believe this. But when you find it and you see it, it kind of gets rid of belief and theory. It's now science. Hey, prove me wrong.
Yeah, it's empirical evidence. Got to use the terms that they love to hear. Use them right on back.
These are the things that I kind of started talking to these groups. They need to stop calling it flat earth theory. They call it flat earth science because if you're trying to disprove something, you got to use facts and things that you're doing. So if flat earth people have facts and round earth people have facts and NASA has facts, we got to start using these as science and everybody sit down and we figure out what's right and what's wrong.
What is falsifiable and what is replicable, more importantly.
Because just like we all saw the moon, we all saw what just happened. So does that make it fact? Because we all saw it. No one can deny that.
Well, actually, we're still in disagreement about what we saw. That's the problem.
Exactly. So that makes it science. Because if one person says, "Oh, well, that's not really the moon or the sun. It's just two rocks going around Earth," it's still a science, and it's still something that has to be disproved or proven.
Yep. Hence my comment about falsifiability and replicability. That those are the governors.
Yeah, so have you, I think now it's my turn. Have you seen any claims of long exposure shots from this eclipse, which claims they have seen the structure of the moon, like the craters, because in old eclipses
Yeah.
it
Yeah, I
was
looked into
claimed,
that.
and yeah, they are, because yeah, I would love to see the claims of behind the scenes, how they do it. I've never seen that. I
Yeah,
will
no,
ask
no, you're
you
right.
before.
It doesn't really exist. So I saw there not from NASA, not from like an official source. Something surfaced on Reddit a few years ago, or what was probably 2017. It was when it happened. Yeah, that was what it was from the 2017 eclipse. And the person made this big Reddit post outlining how they took long exposure shots. They took a bunch of various exposures to get a picture of the moon they claimed from Earth glow, and then they also took a bunch of pictures and they took through using the various exposures they were able to get the sun and the moon they claimed, and then they had the moon so it looked like the solar eclipse. They superimposed the moon over the center, and they claimed that the photos were all taken from around the same time. The thing that was absent from that was the actual source photos. In order to do any sort of, meaningful analysis on that composite of images, then you'd have to look at the source images, which were not provided. And, to my knowledge, you can't just take a long exposure shot of a spot in the sky where you think the new moon is and get an earth glow photo like that. So, uh, there is one I know of one source from the 2017 eclipse where they claim to have done it, but yeah, it's pretty I would say unconvincing quote unquote evidence.
If it was real, they would do it. If everyone would try it. There's a lot of people who would try it.
Yeah.
It would be replicated. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a really good point and it's a really interesting like thought process in my opinion. What's really going on there?
This is another case, I think, where we have to kick NASA in the butt. The post we just reviewed of theirs is, of course, a downward shot at allegedly the surface of the Earth. Did anybody see anything from NASA shooting the moon and the sun together at the moment of totality for the ISS? Did anybody see that? Not I, says everybody.
Not what they show you, it's
Wouldn't
what they don't show you, right?
wouldn't that have been the most epic freaking shot ever? I mean, there's no atmosphere in the way. What kind of data would we get from that? And they denied us. They denied us. All they did was shoot downward, like always.
Maybe they'll get it next eclipse, dude. When's the next one? 200, 300 years out?
Yeah, something ish.
Get them next time. All right, so let's see here. We got. I'm just gonna make an arbitrary order now. I remember
We
MAGA
had
Kaga was in, and I bounced
Yeah,
him
we
out. I
got
thought he was out.
Mega Kaga, Brian Cash, Flatless, and Xavier.
All right, let's do MAGA, Brian, Xavier Flat.
Sounds good.
Hi, everybody. I'm MAGA Kaga. I don't know if you guys. What's up? I don't know if you guys discussed this or not earlier, but I've been in the space for about an hour now, and I haven't heard it, so I thought I'd bring it up. My experience of the eclipse today. I got to work at about 7 o'clock when the sun was just coming up, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and there was about 10 to 15 visible planes with miles long lines of smoke, just perfectly thin, lines of smoke coming out of them. And I immediately noticed that it seemed to be more planes than usual because I get to work at the same time. I look at the sky when I get there, and I started noticing them. And today was particularly bad to the point where I could predict what was going to happen because I'd seen it before. I knew that it would become so overcast that the sky would just be gray. I mean, it was a beautiful blue morning, and there was a few streaks in the sky, and it looked amazing, but I knew that it wasn't going to be great. And I took some pictures, and I just wanted to know what you guys thought about what they're doing to the sky with these planes, because, they say it's condensation, but I think that's adorable that they say that because it clearly ruins our skies. And to the point about the convincing globers, I have a problem with that because I can't take them seriously anymore. I want to leave these people behind. I don't want to convince people that don't want to be convinced. You know what I mean? So I'm just looking for people who already know the truth and can just keep progressing with what we know instead of like trying to convince people that don't want to be convinced of anything, So yeah, that's my question. I wanted to know what you guys thought about
Cool.
that.
Sounds like you should be hanging out with us on Discord, and you should be hanging out with us on Telegram because we're not always on X. You know what I mean? We
It's
hide in
kind
all
of a
kinds of.
new thing. It's kind of a new thing for me to have noticed, but I've noticed now for so long myself, and then I looked to see if other people noticed the same thing. And I just noticed that today was particularly bad. And I also didn't see the moon. I guess I'm whatever, but I thought the moon would go in front of the sun and then it would just pass the sun and we'd all think it was really cool, but I never saw the moon. You know what I mean? My sky was completely smoked out and I had to wear the glasses to even look what was happening. But the argument is, oh, it's a brand new moon, so we can't see it, but it's like the most reflective rock that we have to see ever because it's 239,000 miles away and it lights up like a flashlight. You know what I mean? So why is it black and why can't I see it and where did it go? And why is the sky smoked out? This is fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so Jacksonville's on the West Coast, right?
No, East Coast, Florida.
Oh, it is East. No. I mean down when you go down the Florida arm, that Lauderdale's on the East Coast. You're on the West Coast. Yeah.
I'm not on the West Coast of anything.
You're on the Texas side of Florida.
I'm Atlantic. It's not Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, we are on the east side. Okay, I stand corrected. I was just thinking about your place geographically speaking about why they would be dropping chemtrails so early in the morning. But I guess
Well, I
maybe
live next
I
to a
didn't check the
very
weather
big
there.
military.
It's
Yeah,
it's
I'm
probably more
sorry.
important that you check the weather there to see if your predominant wind direction was from the southeast this morning. That would be why you might have seen more of them in your area.
No, I live next to a very large military base, and I've looked around at other reports in Florida, and particularly where the big cities and military bases are. This is where you saw the chemtrails. You know what I mean? There's a huge there's an awesome, like, I was thinking about that SpaceX video footage they put out, and I mean, if that was Florida, if any part of that footage was Florida, where the eclipse apparently went over because it was at least 3/4 full today, but I didn't see Florida on that SpaceX video, and that's not what the clouds look like at all. You know what I mean? That footage, just a notice about the clouds. That's not what it was. And if you look at anyone's reporting on Tampa,
I think we lost you there. You still there?
Ooh, yeah, I think so.
Lost him.
oh, I'm sorry.
Nope,
Yeah,
he's back.
There you
anyway, I was talking about the reports out of Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, and other places. I mean, we were just covered in sprayed smoke, and I watched it happen, and something is going on there. They don't want you to see it, or they're making you inhale it, or both. Something's happening there.
I think they know a lot of awake people are watching it and probably want to analyze it on different levels. For example, the aspect of polarization, and that there might be a body up there just as massless, just as holographic, which is functioning as some kind of polarizer, which will just cut off the light as you bring it in front and it'll occlude. You know what I mean? That we don't
Yeah.
even think about those things on those terms because we were brought up globies, but they know now, cat's out of the bag. Thousands upon thousands are all standing around looking at it going, well, let's take a closer look. But you can't with that kind of cloud cover, right?
So let me ask you this: do they have they predicted this eclipse? Do you know about the prediction of this eclipse?
Years and years and years ago.
How many years ago did they predict what
Take
we
it away,
saw today?
Shane.
Do you know? And if they did, and we know the Earth is flat, how did they do that? Because we can do that.
That's all an observation, regardless of model. And Shane will definitely back up
It's a
exactly.
Yeah, we actually went over that in great detail in the
It's
beginning.
the star thing. Okay, it's the stars. So that just makes me think it's even more stationary than it is. I mean, I'd have to believe we're moving at such incredible speeds and nothing changes. You know what I mean? We've been able to plan this for so long. Why are people like, why? I mean, this expanding and inflating and deflating and big banging, and it's just, y'all are spinning. It's not doing any of that. No, it's the same. We predicted this a long time ago. That's how I felt. But did you guys not notice anything in the sky though? Where you guys lived, you didn't look up. You don't share this concern about just
No,
the
not where
local
I was. I
spraying?
saw some other people's photos that had it, but where I was, it was actually crystal clear all day. But I was
Where
not
were
in
you?
totality. I was not in totality. I'm up in the Midwest, so.
Okay, around the area.
I'm in Uruguay, so count me out.
Yeah. Something about Mayport. We got a big, and Cecil Field. We got a big military presence here, and it seems to be connected. The problem is I watched the local weather channel, and they predicted it. I mean, it was a perfectly blue day, except for these planes that I saw rise. I mean, I looked at it 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3. I just watched these streaks turn into clouds, and I couldn't see another cloud in the sky besides that, and the weather channel predicted that it'd be partly cloudy. So in my sense, I think the people spraying what they're spraying. And by the way, we should be able to figure out what they're spraying too. If you guys believe that they're spraying something, we should be able to test the air quality pretty simply and easily, if that's not an idea we've had.
That was actually done well over 20 years ago by a Dr. Carnicom. You might look him up. He did several lectures back then.
Well, it was
Carnicom.
20 years ago.
Yeah, well, ain't nothing changed, man. It's the same shit.
What did they spray today? What do you mean
Anything
it's nothing
Barium and
changed?
aluminum.
anything
Oh,
from
oh,
barium to aluminum oxide, hydroxide, what if I could wish it is barium and
I know, but I'm not
strontium.
relying on a
And you
20-year-old
see, you asked me a
study to
question, but you're
figure
not
out
listening. You're not listening to the answer is the question. The problem here. So
something about what they
it could
sprayed in
also
the sky
be
today.
it
Hey,
could
hey,
also
my
be
man,
blank.
let him talk because we're gonna be wrapping you up soon. So
Okay.
let's don't.
It could also be blank PNA cells, if you know what those are. Different other very upgraded in terms of their DNA bacteria, which are unbelievably heat tolerant. There are many different
Right.
things
I'm
they
wondering
put
how
in.
can we find out what it is today? That's all I'm saying. I understand the million things it could possibly be that we don't know, but isn't there a way we can just test the air today and find out what they sprayed today and look at it and be
I'm
sure about it?
I'm offering you a path to find exactly the people who are continuing to work on this. Are you interested in that?
Yes. Okay. I do
Great.
understand it
Get
in
your
that
pen.
context.
Carnicom. Carnicom. He's a doctor and he's a
Carnicom.
lecturer. He does the analysis himself, and you want to know what's in him. That's the direction you might want to go. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that. Thank you for your time, guys.
It is my absolute pleasure.
Thank you. All right, so we're gonna hit up Brian Cash now. Brian, what's good, brother? All right, actually, I don't
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
it looks like we lost him.
Yeah, I don't see him in the thing. So we're gonna go over to who was next? It was
Flatless.
Xavier to Flatless.
Oh yeah,
This-
Xavier first. My bad.
Mr. X, what's up, man?
What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? Mike is having some issues, but yeah, I'll be quick. First off, awesome for space, guys. Disappointed a lot of people who are in the comments sections that had issues with your models and your explanations are not here when you guys are live, ready to answer questions. It is what it is, right? But I just wanted to highlight what Stone said. That falsifiability is a key element to all of this, right? The gentleman earlier was talking about science, 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 and I take for granted that people don't elaborate on what that means. And having falsifiability is the crux of all science, right? Is living in a 4D manifold falsifiable? Is the constancy of the speed of light in all reference frames falsifiable? There's so many things that scientism asserts that is done so without prior derivation. So that's something to keep in mind. Can we repeat this? Even if we don't have the equipment, is it able to be repeated, these tests? And if so, is there a way to come up with a null hypothesis where this is not going to be true? We all experience a great eclipse, and some people will say, "Well, there you go. That proves there are orbiting bodies around a spherical Earth in expanding vacuum. What else do you want? Don't you see that observation proves it? And we all know an observation. We can disagree about what we observe, and that's that. And shout out to Shane for those of you who are in the space right now. Click on his page, and I follow these guys a lot in ether cosmology, and I take for granted that they have other links. And I just clicked out the link right now, and Shane's database. There is so much gravy here, bro. Guys, just look into the info. We have a vast network of information. There's information everywhere. Each one teach one, and just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Good stuff.
Thanks, bro. Much appreciated.
Oh yeah, thanks, Xavier. Means a lot, man. And same to you, right? Like, yeah, you're in there all the time, like you said, and part of the community. It's crazy the conversations we can get into when we all come together.
Yeah, we love this community, man. We had such a small community before we got to Twitter. We didn't realize there were so many other people fighting the same battle on different lines, man. This is great to combine forces, consolidate effort, and let's be efficient and streamlined.
I think we're scoring a lot of fence sitters too.
That debate we did definitely had that effect, I feel.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and mention that real quick. If anyone doesn't know, tomorrow Shane's going to be debating Ozian on debatism on Jaronism's channel. So tune in for that. But I don't want to leave Flatless hanging. He put his hand up so long ago. So Flatless, what did you want to mention, man?
Hey, yeah. Is my mic okay?
Pretty good.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I just wanted to say much love to all you guys. I really appreciate all the work you do. I usually just listen. I work a night shift job, but I'm on my break right now, so I took the chance. What I wanted to say was, I've spent pretty much the whole last year talking about this to people in real life. I feel like it's easier than doing it online, even though I have done that just on my personal accounts a little bit. And I'm kind of just sick of, telling this stuff to people that don't necessarily want to hear it. So I think I want to try a new approach, and I'm in the process of just getting a ton of flyers and stickers made. And I want to just start throwing them up everywhere, all over my town. I think I want to do one that says, like, Earth is never measured to be curved, Earth is never measured to be in motion. So I was just going to ask if you guys had any feedback on that idea, and maybe if you had anything,
Dude, that sounds
any
awesome.
ideas you put down.
I like it. Are you gonna give anyone kind of like a web address to go to? Because we all know how if the average person's gonna go to google.com and type flat earth and be like, oh, it's been debunked, and then move on. So like you gonna do like a QR code maybe or something like
Yeah,
that?
QR code was the idea.
There you go. And send them to, I would say one place I would maybe think would be like the Flat Earth Wiki. They have some, like they have their observation page. Or like personally, I'd send them to ethercosmology.com to like the 14 laser tests. Or you could do just, yeah, like something like that. Or what is it? Stoplookthink.com is also a place that's that's a lot at once. Though. That's, if anyone doesn't know about stoplookthink.com, that's David Weiss's like comprehensive like conspiracy website with just links for tons of topics.
Great resource.
Great resource for sure. But it
Hey,
might be a
Flat,
bit much.
can I give you some extra strat on these people you
Yeah,
talk
man.
about in real life, and the ones who are just not not up to the game, as you might might think of it. I would suggest that you could snare these people by their ego right up front. You have to work with the first presumption and get them to begin to answer all of your questions with yes, starting with, hey, are you an open-minded person or not? Like, are you open for new data to find out new things about reality, or not? Or would you just rather live the way you live now and be in the dark? Which do you prefer? And what you're really doing is you're impressing upon them that you're analyzing them as a person, and that involves ego in two ways now on their side of the fence, that they have to worry about their reaction to you. And they're obviously reflexively going to say, oh yeah, I'm open-minded. And now you have them. You keep reminding them of that initial premise to your discussion, and the door's wide open, necessarily so, pinned open by their own ego, as long as you start with the basic premise. You know what I mean?
That's a great
Yeah,
tip.
man, I like that a lot. I'll definitely put that to use. I actually got to run, but again, thank you guys so much. My life has changed exponentially since I've started learning from y'all. So keep it
Cool.
up.
Let us know how it works.
Hey, peace, man. We're glad to be of service.
Field off of that, bro. You need the yes momentum.
Yo, take care, Flatless. Thanks for coming out, man.
All right.
Thanks for the kind words.
Did you do the
Yo, and
promo
yeah,
for Shane?
Stone, that was fantastic, man. I've never thought about that approach, but and and also it to be fair too, it gives closed-minded people, they can literally just say no, and then I can just be like, okay, then we're done. If you're not open-minded, no
Thank
need to
you for
continue.
telling me who you are and who you are not.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. What were you gonna say, Alan?
Oh, I was gonna ask, did Shane do the promo for Tuesday? Or did you already cover that?
I covered it really quickly, but I'll go over kind of the layout of the plan tomorrow here. Tomorrow on the Ether Cosmology Discord server, which if you ever want to find any of our links, you can find them all at ethercosmology.com or hit any of us up and we can help you out. But if you go to the Ether Cosmology Discord server at 9 p.m., we're going to be watching together. We're going to do a group watch of Shane's debate with Ozian. And like I said earlier, that's going to be on Debatism, hosted by Jaron, and that's going to be between Shane and Ozian. They're going to be talking about, as far as I know, electrostatics and ether, and what else, Shane? Anything else? I think eclipses,
And that was
possibly.
9
No,
Eastern?
it's mostly going to be just electrostatics, gravity, and the accelerated math. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, because he's in Pacific, I think.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Nice. That'll be
And so yeah,
live
we'll
on
watch
Jaren's
that.
channel.
We'll watch that on the Ether Cosmology Discord. You can watch it on Jaren's YouTube, or he's on Rumble too, right? He streams Rumble, or definitely Rockfin. Um, and then we'll do an after show. Uh, we'll stream that on YouTube and X and Rumble and Twitch and Kick. And with that, we'll just be going over questions and answers, just things about the debate that we want to cover. I believe Shane will probably pop in to chat. And yeah. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here now, unless there's anything that's super urgent that anyone wants to get in here, anything else that we missed.
Oh, yeah. Before we wrap, there was a guy that joined at the tail end that let him get in. And Steve
Oh,
Strange, if you want to chime in real quick before we wrap up.
Sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you're
Yeah,
good. I
sorry.
forgot to mention that.
Hey guys, pleasure to be here. I just wanted to drop in real quick, and I just saw a poll that was talking about which term would be better, flat Earth or true Earth, and I just wanted to comment on that alone. I think using the name True Earth speaks volumes, not only for those of us that know very well what we're dealing with, but we're also very comfortable with calling it that, and it also will define anyone else that feels comfortable with using that, because I mean it couldn't be any more correct. And then if there's any like Glovers out there that are in strict defiance, they easily call themselves out because they wouldn't be willing to call it True Earth, and we all know very well what's going on. I just wanted to comment and say I think that's a good way to kind of move forward, is to maybe use that more, because flat Earth has gained such a negative stigma. The stigma on it immediately impacts, I guess someone would immediately visualize a frisbee in space whenever that name is used. So I think if we kind of change that name up and start getting used to using that, it would maybe hit on a much more, good vibes and truer lines.
I don't know. On first impulse, superficially listening to what you're presenting, I can see your point. But then again, I think it's time we just own it and cast aside the negative stigma and ignore that. That you need to stand just as strong as you are on the knowledge, right on yourself in interaction with other people in any way, social media, in real life, you pick. Um, no, I don't think we need to be making up another name. That reminds me of when I used to live in New Zealand, and the power company were just dicks. And there's actually, I shouldn't say the power company, because there's about 8 of them or 12 of them now, if I'm sure. And the one that was servicing our area of the island were just the worst. They were as people, they're billing and all kinds of other nasty issues with this company, and they didn't make the decision to change anything about the board, anything about who's in control, anybody who's managing, anything about their transmission policy, anything about their hardware, nothing to do with anything. All they did was change the name of the corporation. And all of a sudden, we as customers were supposed to believe that they're a different entity and they're going to somehow operate differently. And I think that's cheesy as hell. So, again, if we see this from the Glober perspective, that, oh, they're not flat earthers now, they're true earthers now, oh, they're just hiding from the stigma, they can twist that so many different ways. And I think, no, buck stops here, bro. Right here. We got the facts, we got the evidence, we got the points, we got the irrefutability, and we're prepared to show it to them anytime they want to look. And anybody who suggests negative stigma about flat Earth just isn't paying attention, or they're just an anti flat earther, and we know how to treat them. And we should use that term the way the mainstream are using flat Earth. That you're an anti-flat earther. Is that true? Put that into motion
Oh, dude,
instead.
I like it, Stone.
Okay?
I
I
like
think we
it,
need to take a
bro.
whole new psychological stance. We are not, although I am, we are not Canadians here. We do not apologize all day for what you want to call it. No, no, no. It just is what it is. And I think we need to talk about that.
Yeah, so just to throw my 2 cents in on it, I I agree with, like, overall, I kinda stand with Stone on it, but I agree with the general impulse, and I think it's useful as an in. Like, I think it's like, we have to recognize it for what it is, like, it's a marketing tactic, essentially, right? Like, "Oh, some people just don't wanna give flat Earth a shot, so we market it as true Earth so that we can maybe they'll be like, 'Oh, that's a different concept. What do they really mean?' That means they're gonna be honest about it, right? So maybe I can go be analytical and try and prove them wrong," or anything to get them in the door, right? But the important thing that I think where I really agree with Stone on it is, like, really owning it, like, and it's like, you know, um, yeah, I don't know. It's just like we were talking about earlier about flat Earth science and how, if we change identities, we try to change try to market it differently too much. If we don't just own it for what it truly is, just a stationary like a plane. It's literally like a plane. It's pretty flat. So, like, there's no reason to run a shy away from that. And I think owning it and kind of putting it in their face, like Stone just described, is that's the right move on so many levels because not just for keeping things simple for people and keeping it concise, but also just for kind of just like Stone laid out, like flipping that psychological game around on them, right? We have this thing we talked about a few weeks ago in hockey. You've got the enforcer. There used to be the enforcer. They don't really do this in hockey so much these days, but the whole
The
point
goon.
of the enforcer was just to go out there and just beat the other guy up. Whoever was going to touch the puck on the other team, the enforcer, even if they were gonna get taken out of the game for it, they were just gonna go beat you up for touching the puck. They're gonna knock you down, smash you into the boards, take their stick and shove it in your face or whatever. I mean, honestly, like I've only played a little bit of hockey in my life, but that's the idea of the enforcer. And that's what like so many, especially here on X, that's what these people are. They're these enforcers, right? They want to do anything they can to keep us from touching the puck. Like they're not there to have a meaningful conversation or to tell you why you're wrong and actually give you information or anything of the sort. They don't have some special information that we're missing, that we're lacking. We've all done the research and went looking for it. What they're all they really want to do is just shut us up. Just don't talk about it. Stop touching that puck. I don't care if I gotta get taken out of the game. I don't care if I have to use fallacious arguments. I don't care if I have to whatever. I don't care if I have to besmirch the name of flat Earth by any means necessary, by through all of my media apparatus or through all of my, all of the astroturfers that I pay to go on Twitter or X or, the AIs that I'm using or whatever. Or just, or even it's just leveraging people's own insecurities, their own, religious insecurities about their belief system. It's like these people are their belief systeming is being challenged. So they're reacting in kind of a life or death fashion, right? Like they're not acting rationally. So um which yeah, like I think it's a marketing tactic, but nothing more because we have to own the reality of this situation. We have to keep things simple and concise for people. It's never going to be an easy thing because we're dealing with indoctrination and we're dealing with like a big awakening. And it's like I don't know. I think I speak for most of us when I say it's not an easy process to go through.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that. I would even add that it's something we can help them with. And we have to get them to look more critically at themselves in regard to their beliefs and bring them to the line and over the line, frankly, that they are not what they believe. They are something, and that something happens to believe something at this moment. It does not define actually who they are. It is merely the information they're currently embracing. And if you can psychologically bring them over that line and segregate the two, when you attack the beliefs, it doesn't feel so much like you're attacking them. Second point is that, hey, like Let's also address yourself in the unapologetic aspect of what we're talking about here. That you're a flat earther? Well, think about it in terms of yourself for a second and ask yourself a similar question. Are you a part-time flat earther? Are you like a flat earther hobbyist? Are you just kind of tinkering with this like on weekends? Because at work you're with the globies and you're a globie then, but only now when you're amongst your crowd here, you're a flat earther? Or are you one all the time because that's what the facts say all the time? So psychologically, that's you have to approach it from the point of self. That who are you? What are you actually asserting here? And is it true all the time?
Man, well
Very well
said,
said.
Stone.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Exactly. And I mean, to that point though, Stone, I mean, that's it. Exactly. That's what it's all about. Having that conviction and having that confidence and speaking and standing true to the same foundation that Earth is on. And I mean, depending on the amount of time that any of us have been in this space in particular of what we're learning, what we're finding out, it's really a never ending process. But once we start that journey, when we find out what Earth really is, when we find out what our connection with Earth really is, then we find out there's so much more to learn. And I'm more spiritually inclined with a lot of this stuff, but I mean, all in all, we're all in the right. We're all in the right frame of mind. But I definitely appreciate yeah, your feedback on that. We're all correcting in on this. And it's an ongoing learning process for all of this, but it's also a very firm stance for all of us to stand with for each other as well. Thank y'all guys.
Cool, man. Glad you could make it by. So the duty here, the personal duty here is to develop fluency in the concepts I just laid down. And you do that through action.
Nice. And that's why you're head of quality assurance, bro. You keep us on track. All right. Well, that wraps us up for the night. Thanks everyone for coming out. Much appreciated. Toby, do you want to roll the outro? Like how I just passed it off to you? All right. Well, he's muted, so I guess I'll
Oh, hey, yeah,
No,
sorry,
no, no,
no.
no. He has to.
Oh, he
Man, I
has
was
to do it, Shane.
No, he has to. There's no, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it's true. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here on X, Twitter Spaces. This has been awesome. Sorry for the few little bit of technical issues we had there in the beginning. Not much we can do except ping Elon with a couple tweets. Sure, he'll reward us. And don't forget to pop in for on Jaronism's channel tomorrow at 9 p.m. for Shane's debate with Ozian. And on Thursday, we'll be doing reading on spectroscopy. And on Friday, don't forget to pop in for Flat Earth Fridays with the level heads. And I believe we're probably going to do another Brenner reading on this upcoming Sunday of readings of Michael Brenner's work. Those have been going pretty
Nice.
well. So we'll probably do another one of those. And yeah, thanks everyone for being here. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close the space out. And yeah, take care, y'all.
Yeah, thanks all. Great community. We love y'all.
Rock
Peace. All right, that's the end of the stream. Shout out to JJ John. Shout out to what is it, dude? Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. Am I about to say the wrong name? Hold on, I can't do that to my boy. Give me 1 second. Justin or JJ or Justin Johnson. We call him JJ. Jesus. Okay. Shout out to you, JJ, man. Much appreciated for the $20. You're the man. All right, we're closing out.